Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. The Good-for-Nothing Senior Brother. You can become stronger by sleeping. Chapter 41. Ding! The system has been updated. The 80,000 points exchanged for low-grade spiritual stones have been changed to 8,000 points. From now on, this system will use the calculation method of middle-grade spiritual stones to calculate statistics. Please ask the host whether to recharge the middle-grade spiritual stones. Recharge. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully recharging 500 medium-grade spiritual stones and gaining 50 points. The current points are 8,050. There are a few middle-grade spiritual stones, but it is better than nothing. It seems that the fairy mask can no longer support my promotion. I have to go out and think of a solution. After all, who would practice if there is a system? If I practice for a day, I will look down on my golden finger. Quote, I haven't seen my junior sister for a month, and I don't know how she is recovering. Go check on her. After turning off the system and walking out of the room, Wu Yang grilled a chicken and walked down Shaoyun Peak. Coming to Zongmin Square, I saw the changes in Xian sect. The square had more than doubled in size in just 1 month. Nowadays, the disciples of all the major sects have put on uniform clothes, and they are all collectively called the Five Sects Alliance. Wu Yang was walking on the road, and all the disciples saluted when they saw him. Some people who knew Wu Yang were talking about it. I've seen the Guardian Elder. Hey, do you know? Elder Wu Yang of Shaoyun Peak was called a waste before. I wonder how those who look down on him will face him now. I heard that he also beat up Xiaozan, the leader of Fire Cloud Peak. Do you think he will hold a grudge? Stop talking, don't let the Guardian Elder hear it. If he beats you, you won't be able to reason with him. Hello, Elder Protector. As soon as Wu Yang passed by several disciples, these disciples immediately saluted respectfully. At this time, he hung the Protector Elder's token around his neck and walked as arrogantly as he wanted. Before, he wanted to reject this identity. Looking at him like this now, I was immediately slapped in the face by what I said before. At this time, Lu Tianya, Lu Yangfeng and Zhou Zheng saw Wu Yang and immediately wanted to run away. Are you kidding? This guy beat up their master. If he was on the muzzle of a gun, he would be beaten lame. Hey, you three, stop. Wu Yang also discovered the 3 guys who had wanted his life, and immediately shouted loudly and walked towards them quickly. When the 3 of them heard this sound that sounded like it was coming from hell, they stopped immediately, as if someone had cast a restraining spell on them, and they didn't dare to move. And trembling, the 3 of them prayed in their hearts that they would not be retaliated by Wu Yang. Why don't you 3 bow to me when you see me? Are you looking down on me? No, I don't dare. Hello, Protector Elder. Hello, Elder Protector. Hello, Elder Protector. Why did you turn around and leave as soon as you saw me? Tell me quickly, or I'll beat you up. We really didn't see the Guardian Elder, please forgive me. That's right, we didn't see it, please forgive me, Elder. HMPH. The 3 of you are following me carrying this roasted chicken, and you will be my errand boy from now on, do you understand? Yes, we will be Elder Wu's errand boys from now on. If the Elder tells us to go east, we will never go west. Yes, it's quite good, but I still like you to call me Senior Brother. The Elders are calling me old. Yes, Senior Brother, from now on we are willing to die for Senior Brother. In this way, Wu Yang accepted 3 free men, and the 3 of them followed Wu Yang toward the sect hall. Okay, give me the roasted chicken and go back. Don't bully others anymore, or you'll have to cut off all your penises. Elder Brother, let's take our leave first. When the 3 of them heard Wu Yang telling them to leave, they immediately disappeared from Wu Yang's sight as if they had heard the imperial edict pardoning the beheading. HMPH, I'm scaring you to death. Junior sister, I'm here. Senior Brother is here to see you. Hey. Wu Yang carried the roasted chicken and ran into the sect hall to the side room. At this time, Zhang Min was almost recovered. Mu Wanqing was sitting on the stool on the tea table and giving her medicine. I've been making noises all day, but I haven't been able to keep up with it. What are you talking about? Mu Wanqing cursed without looking back. Didn't I roast a chicken for my junior sister and send it specially to replenish her body? Junior sister, are you feeling better? Quote, well, thank you for your concern, senior brother. It's much better. I can get out of bed and walk now. Wow, senior brother even brought roast chicken. I want to eat it. Shut up and drink the medicine first. Mu Wanqing looked at Zhongmin pretending to be angry, and when she saw the look in her master's eyes, she immediately took the medicine. Wu Yong came to the tea table and sat down. After a while, he finished drinking the medicine. Before Zhongmin could do anything, Mu Wanqing tore off the chicken legs and ate them herself. Wu Yong glanced at his beautiful master, and then tore off another chicken leg for Zhongmin and handed it to her. Seeing the two women eating with relish, Wu Yong also felt a sense of accomplishment. Hey, master, have you heard of the middle-grade spirit stone? Why are you asking this? I was allocated a middle-grade spirit stone in the treasure house of the great demon sect, so I wanted to ask you, the knowledgeable and beautiful master. Middle-grade spirit stones are used by the gods and the void cultivators for cultivation and trading, because at their level, the lower-grade spirit stones are no longer of much use to them. You are now in the late stage of the nascent soul, and it is time to understand the use of middle-grade spirit stones. We, a fourth-level cultivation country, may not know much about middle-grade spirit stones. But in level 5 and 6 cultivation countries all use medium-grade spiritual stones, and only our level 4 and below cultivation countries use low-grade spiritual stones. I heard that the more advanced level 7 and 8 cultivation countries still use high-grade spiritual stones, and the legendary level 9 cultivation country Suzaku Saint sect uses top-grade spiritual stones. Quote, then, beautiful master, if you want to get more medium-grade spiritual stones, you can only go to the level 5 cultivation country. Quote, well, after all, only the level 5 cultivation country will use medium-grade spiritual stones as trading currency. Listening to the conversation between the two, Zhongmin seemed to know some shocking secrets. Big brother, master just said that you are now in the late nascent soul stage, is this true? Really, truer than diamonds. Big brother, I am not only in the late nascent soul stage, but I also slaughtered the entire great demon sect to avenge you. I will destroy the Shira sect and the Wying sect in the future, and your great revenge will be avenged. Thank you, big brother, you are so good to me. Eat your chicken leg. Whoever dares to attack my junior sister, I will make him pay with blood, and of course my beautiful master too. If anyone dares to attack you too, they will all die. After listening to this call, Zhongmin was full of gratitude, while Mu Wanqing was full of contempt. Beautiful master, I want to travel recently. I am going to get moldy staying in the sect every day. You don't want to go to the 5th level cultivation country, do you? It's true that you are a beautiful master who can't hide anything from me, he. I can't make the decision on this matter. Go find a few masters. I won't get involved in the affairs of you old monsters who are in the late Yuanying period. When Mu Wanqing thought that this guy's cultivation was higher than hers, she was hit hard. Wu Yong tiptoed out of the wing room. When he was about to reach the door, he turned back and made a face at Zhongmin, which made Zhongmin laugh. Laugh, you are still an ancient immortal body, and you can still laugh with your cultivation. Tomorrow you will go back to Shaoyun Peak with me to start retreat cultivation. Don't come out until you reach the Jindan period. I will also retreat. Sooner or later, I will surpass this guy and beat him up. As soon as Mu Wanqing finished speaking, Zhongmin suddenly felt that the chicken leg in her hand was not fragrant. Wu Yong walked out of the hall and came to the square, where he found Mu Yang and Yan Shanyu, the two on-duty masters who were instructing many disciples to practice. Oh, our Wu Dharma protector elder is so free today, how can he have time to come and guide our disciples to practice? Yan Shanyu saw Wu Yang coming and immediately joked. In his heart, he had already regarded Wu Yang as a peer, and would not act like a senior just because Wu Yang was young. Two masters, I want to go out for a trip, so I came to inform you. Why do you want to go out when you are staying here well? Isn't it nice to sleep in Shaoyun Peak? What if you go out and encounter danger? Quote, hey, Master Mu, this is wrong. Wu Dharma Protector is also the same as us. He is in the late Yuanying great perfection. No one can hurt him except the great cultivators above the 5th level of cultivation. I just want to travel to the 5th level of cultivation, he. You, Master Mu Yang also felt that this guy was bold and presumptuous at this time, and immediately wanted to scold him. At this time, Tianjizi flew over from a distance and landed beside the three people. Friend Mu, don't be angry. Since friend Wu Yang wants to travel, let him go. After all, the canary in the cage can only be used for viewing. If you want to become an eagle, you have to go out and explore. How can you improve without experiencing danger? Not only can we not oppose friend Wu Yang, but we must support him. Look, what Senior Tianjizi said is human words, we can't oppose it, but we must support it. So what you mean is that what I said is not human words? Mu Yang, the head of the sect, was so angry that he blew his beard and glared at this time. No, I definitely didn't say it, and I didn't think about it in my heart. What I mean is, since I want to support you, shouldn't I show it? Take 18 million spirit stones as travel expenses. Ahem, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Whoosh, Tianjizi's figure disappeared in an instant. Aha, you all should practice well. You are not doing it right, raise your hands. Yan Shanyu immediately walked towards the disciples who were practicing. Mu Yang looked at Wu Yang, who was holding out his hand with a sly look on his face, and thought to himself, how could such a scourge appear in Xian sect? Master, can you reimburse me for the travel expenses? Are you going or not? If not, go back to Shaoyun Peak to sleep. I don't want to see you. I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. Tisk, stingy. After Wu Yang finished speaking, he walked towards Shaoyun Peak. He wanted to go back to prepare and then go out for training. Returning to Xiaoyunfeng, he simply packed up some common things and walked out of the yard without staying too long. He looked back at Xiaoyunfeng Hall, and then walked straight down Xiaoyunfeng. In a pavilion at the foot of Xiaoyunfeng Mountain, a figure wearing a long cyan skirt, slender and well-proportioned, with a long hair tied with a delicate headband, was standing there quietly. Her face looked a little haggard, and she didn't know whether it was because she didn't have a good rest or because she missed someone too much. At this moment, her eyes were fixed on the direction of Xiaoyunfeng. After a while, she saw a figure walking down the steps of Xiaoyunfeng. When she saw the figure walking down, a trace of happiness flashed on her face, but soon she became overwhelmed. Her two little hands kept grabbing her skirt and rubbing it back and forth, her expression obviously a little panicked. This person was Lu Qingqing, who had been waiting here for an hour. At that time, she was studying with the two masters in the square. Just when Wu Yang came to tell the two leaders that he was going out for training, Lu Qingqing listened briefly because he was not too far away. So as soon as she finished practicing, she ran to the foot of Xiaoyunfeng Mountain, wanting to see Wu Yang again. Wu Yang, who was walking down the mountain at this time, also spotted Lu Qingqing in the pavilion, and immediately walked towards her quickly. Qingqing, what are you doing here, waiting for me? Did something happen? I was just thinking about saying goodbye to you, but I didn't expect to meet you here. Wu, disciple Lu Qingqing has met Elder Wu, my disciple. Oh, come on, why are you shouting like the others, Elder Wu? Elder Wu. If you call me senior brother or I'll spank you, you're really not as good as a junior sister at all. Quote. When Lu Qingqing heard Wu Yang's words, she lowered her head and flushed, but the panic in her heart also disappeared. Wu, senior brother Wu, Qingqing heard you say you were going out for training, and wanted to see you before you left, so I'm waiting for you here. Hearing that Lu Qingqing came specifically to see him, Wu Yang immediately turned his head and looked around. When he found that no one was there, he stepped forward and hugged Lu Qingqing in his arms. At this time, Lu Qingqing leaned on his chest full of muscles, feeling the strong beating of his heart, and immediately closed his eyes with a look of satisfaction. After a while, Wu Yang let go of Lu Qingqing and looked at her with love. He scratched her nose with his finger. I just went out to have some experience. Be happy, it's not like we won't see you again in the future. If someone bullies you after I leave, just tell Zhang Min. With her fiery temper, she will avenge you that day. With her as the backstage, no one in these 5 sect alliances can stop me, not even your master. Understand? Quote. Ah, well, I know, senior brother Wu. Okay, it's time for me to go, by the way. If you don't have any facial mask in the future, just go to my junior sister and ask for it. I told her the formula of the Tianxian facial mask. And, take care of yourself. Wait for me. Quote, yeah, Lu Qingqing hummed softly after hearing this. Wu Yong then turned around and walked away. Looking at the retreating figure, Lu Qingqing said softly again. Senior brother Wu, Qingqing will work hard to practice. Qingqing will not be a burden to you in the future. Qingqing will definitely impress you when we see you next time. As the figure walked further and further away, Lu Qingqing had a determined look on her face. At this moment, she seemed to have found the goal of her struggle and the reason why she had to become stronger. A quarter of an hour later, Wu Yong arrived at the sect's main hall, took out a storage bag from his arms and walked straight towards the side hall where Zhang Min lived. Junior sister, kiss me, little junior sister. What are you doing? Zhang Min, who was practicing, arrived before anyone else arrived. When he heard his senior brother's voice, he immediately stood up and opened the door. Big brother. When he saw Wu Yong, he hugged him directly, his legs tightly holding Wu Yong's waist. Come down, come down, come down quickly. You were jumping up and down just after you recovered. If the beautiful master sees it, he will give me a big mouth again. Since I miss you, I will hold my senior brother in my arms. Ahem, be obedient, and you'll be the best if you kiss me. Junior sister, come down quickly. Senior brother will bring you a gift. As soon as he heard that there was a gift, Zhang Min let go and pulled Wu Yong into the room. Tian Jizzy from a distance smiled when he saw the two of them looking like this. Ha ha ha, today's young people are really becoming more and more reluctant to betray others. Ha ha ha, it seems that the old man is really old. He shook his head with a smile and walked away. Zhang Min pulled Wu Yong to sit down at the table and poured him a cup of spiritual tea. Senior brother, do you really want to go out for training? Yes, when did your senior brother tell lies? When I go out to train you, you should also step up your efforts to improve yourself in the sect and don't be outdone by others. You are my junior sister, Wu Yong. If you are compared with others, I will spank you when I come back. Quote, HMPH, who dares to compete with me if I have a senior brother? If anyone dares to compete with me, I will beat him. If I can't beat him, I will go to the headmaster. He, it has to be you, you ghost and ghost. Isn't this what senior brother taught me? Didn't you always say before, we have a backing, so what should we be afraid of? Anyway, if we can't defeat them, we will run away. When we get home, we will attack them. The revenge of the day will be avenged on the same day. Okay, let's get down to business. Senior brother is about to go out. Please help me give this wandering dragon sword to the beautiful master. This is the sword technique. She always feels that she is being outdone by me every day, and she feels very uncomfortable. So give her this sword and let her improve her strength. These two high-grade flying swords, one for you, and the other for you to give to Lu Qingqing at Qingling Peak. I gave you a flying sword that is so good that you can't use it now. When you become stronger in the future, senior brother will replace it with a better one for you. Also, in the future, if someone bullies her when senior brother is away, take action. This girl is shy and easily bullied by others. Quote, senior sister Qingqing, why does senior brother care so much about others? Could it be? It's you big-headed ghost, you have to take good care of yourself, you hear me? If you want to go out for training, tell the boss and ask the bosses to follow you. You are senior brother's pet peeve. If something goes wrong, how will you let senior brother live? Quote, Wu Yong's diversionary move instantly diverted Zhang Min's attention away from Lu Qingqing. He admired himself for facing this proposition. Zhang Min was immediately coaxed by him and was as happy as a child who got 10 pieces of candy. Well, senior brother, I know how to take care of myself and senior sister Qingqing. Don't worry, you should also take care of yourself outside. Okay, senior brother is gone. After I leave, you can go find the beautiful master. Remember to give her the wandering dragon sword and the sword art. Elder brother, I'm staying here for a while. I want to stay with you for a while. Hearing Zhang Min acting coquettishly with him, Wu Yong pinched her delicate oval face like a fairy with both hands. Oh, now my little junior sister has learned how to act like a spoiled brat. Who did she learn this from? Okay, senior brother is gone, be good, you will have plenty of time in the future. Quote, okay, take care, senior brother. When Zhang Min saw that her coquettish act failed, her little face suddenly shrank like a deflated rubber ball. Wu Yang walked out of the sect's main hall and headed towards the mountain gate. A beautiful figure on the square in the distance was watching him quietly as he walked away. At this time, Mu Wanqing didn't know what she was thinking, nor did she know when the figure of this fool had quietly slipped into her heart. Seeing Wu Yang walking further and further away, Mu Wanqing turned around and walked towards the sect's main hall. One of his apprentices had gone out to practice. Isn't there another apprentice here? I have to supervise her practice, and I have to keep myself busy so that I don't always think about those things in my mind. As soon as she entered the side hall of the sect's main hall, she saw Zhang Min playing with a silver long sword. There was a small white dragon wandering inside the silver sword. Zhang Min's fingers followed the swimming trajectory of the white dragon and kept teasing it. Seeing Mu Wanqing come in at this moment, Zhang Min immediately put down the sword in his hand and stood up. "Ah, Master, when did you come? I'm not lazy, but my senior brother has just left. I'm not in the mood to practice right now. My master has just arrived. What is this sword of yours? Oh, by the way, this dragon sword was given to you by senior brother, and he gave it to you as a gift. Master gives it to you, and this is the sword technique." Quote. Mu Wanqing took over the wandering dragon sword and sword Ju, and felt a trance in her heart. She felt as if a stone had been dropped on the lake surface that had been silent for hundreds of years, causing ripples to appear. In just an instant, her complexion returned to its original state, and she spoke with a serious face. "This fool gave me the long sword he carried with him. What did he use? Don't get beaten to death outside by then. Oh master, how can you say that to my senior brother? If my senior brother is so smart and powerful, he will definitely be fine. As for you, your senior brother, and you, let me practice with peace of mind during this period. If you can't advance to the golden elixir stage in half a year, I will lock you in a small dark room." Zhang Min stuck out his tongue. "Now that I know master, I will work hard to practice and strive to catch up with senior brother as soon as possible." Mu Wanqing also realized at this time that the apprentice in front of her was also a monster. There was no guarantee that one day she would be surpassed by her little apprentice again. When I thought of this, I was shocked again, and my eyes became firm when I looked at the wandering dragon sword in my hand. "Okay, you can practice well. I'm going back as a teacher. I'll see you again after a while." Mu Wanqing is now determined to go back to practice, and strive to learn the wandering dragon sword technique as soon as possible to improve her cultivation. She didn't want to become Xiao Yunfang's weakest person in the future. After Zhang Min saw Mu Wanqing leave, she also slipped out of the sect hall and walked towards Qingling Peak. I met many disciples from the alliance along the way, and everyone immediately saluted when they saw Zhang Min. "Hello, Saint. Hello, Saint. Hello, Saint. Oh, senior brothers and sisters, don't be like this, just call me Zhang Min or junior sister Zhang." Zhang Min was also called shy by everyone. When the disciples saw the saint being so friendly, they suddenly became more casual. "Junior sister Zhang, where are you going?" Mirong Shui, the senior sister of Qingling Peak, saw Zhang Min walking towards Qingling Peak and immediately asked. "Oh, senior sister Mirong, I want to go to Qingling Peak to find senior sister Lu Qingqing." "Junior sister Qingqing, she is practicing in her room at the moment. I don't know what kind of stimulation she got, but she ran into the house to practice as soon as she came back. Let me take you to find her." "Thank you, senior sister Mirong." With Mirong Shui leading the way, the two of them quickly arrived at the door of Lu Qingqing's room. "Junior sister Qingqing, are you there? The saint is here to find you." As soon as he heard that Zhang Min was looking for him, Lu Qingqing immediately stopped practicing and ran all the way to open the door. "Okay, junior sister Zhang and junior sister Qingqing, let's talk, I have something to go out for." "Senior sister, walk slowly." "Thank you sister Mirong." Mirong Shui smiled, and then walked away. Lu Qingqing looked at Zhang Min and then made a gesture. "What a saint, I don't know why Zhang Meimei came. Well, this is the flying sword that the master asked me to give you, but the master will tell me if someone bullies you in the future. We will go directly to him, what are we afraid of?" The relationship between the two sisters quickly heated up, and after a while, they became good sisters who said nothing. Meet the guardian elder. Well, open the barrier, I want to go out. Yes. The leading disciple took out the jade token and pressed it against the barrier of the sect protection formation. A gap appeared in the barrier. Wuyong nodded and then took a step out. His body flew into the air and flew into the distance. I didn't realize that Elder Wu was so strong before. He killed the Great Demon Sect's Grand Elder in that battle. He was too low-key before. I didn't expect him to burst out with such strong fighting power at the critical moment. Tell us about the decisive battle at that time. At that time, we stayed behind in the sect and couldn't come with the leader to support. Tell us about it. You don't know how tragic that battle was. Our leader Mu Yang fought 3 Yuanying late-stage great perfection alone. Just when he was about to collapse, Elder Wu suddenly exploded and fought 1 against 2, and even killed the Great Demon Sect's Grand Elder Yang Shu. Okay, don't talk about it here. If the law enforcement elder finds out that we are absent from duty, we will be punished again. We will tell you the story when we go back. Shish. Yes, don't ask, I will tell you when I go back, and do your duty well. Several disciples who did not participate in the sect protection battle at that time listened with relish, and suddenly felt a sense of superiority. They secretly vowed to become an excellent person like Elder Wu in the future. After flying for a long time, it was dark. Wuyong landed in a cave. Anyway, he was not in a hurry to travel. Thinking of keeping himself in peak condition at any time, he stopped to rest and replenish the spiritual power he had consumed. System, call the system. See if there are any top magic weapons that can be used. Brothers want to spend money. Ding. It is detected that the host needs to buy magic weapons. The relevant page has been displayed. Please choose by yourself. Hissing spirit weapon. A spiritual weapon 1 level higher than a magic weapon. So expensive. But expensive has its advantages. Dragon Scale Halberd. A top-grade spiritual weapon. A group attack weapon, with extremely strong attack power. A halberd can split mountains and break seas, with a halberd method book, priced at 1,500 points. Everlasting Sword. A top-grade spiritual weapon. A single or multiplayer combat weapon. The Chengjiang sword technique was created by an ancient great monk, with a unique body attack that is extremely strange, such as a single battle can cross the border to fight the enemy. Price of 1,550 points, with a copy of Chengjiang sword technique. Looking at the top-grade spiritual weapons, Wuyong felt like he had fallen into the treasure house of the immortal emperor, but these were not given to him for free, he had to use points to redeem them. This is also the reason why he had to carefully select when facing so many treasures. I have chosen the system, this dragon scale halberd and Chengjiang sword. I want both of them. I am not short of money. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully purchasing the dragon scale halberd and Chengjiang sword, deducting 3,050 points. The remaining points are 5,000 points. These 2 high-grade spiritual weapons cost more than 3 million low-grade spiritual stones. Money is really not enough. It seems that I need to find a way to search the treasure houses of several sects. Ding. The host begins to understand the dragon scale halberd technique. Ding. Congratulations to the host for your successful realization. Ding. Congratulations to the host for beginning to understand the Chongjiang sword technique. Ding. Congratulations to the host for your successful realization. In the middle of the night, Wuyong got these 2 high-grade spiritual weapons. He was so excited that he couldn't sleep. He walked out of the cave and flew deeper into the mountains. Half an hour later, he arrived at the foot of a barren mountain. He raised his hand and flipped it over, and the Chongjiang sword suddenly appeared in his hand. The 3'3" long sword exudes a simple light, and the gray-black sword body is covered with golden sword veins. The black hilt tightly wraps an inch of the sword body. As the pure spiritual power in Wuyong's body was injected into the Chongjiang sword, the golden veins on the black and gray sword body seemed to come alive, slowly rotating. Clang! The clear sound of the sword came from the Chongjiang sword. There are 3 moves in this Chongjiang sword technique, each of which has thousands of variations. As the spiritual power in his body slowly poured into the Chongjiang sword, Wuyong raised his hand and pointed the sword at the sky, shouting loudly. Cut it out with force. The sword points to the sky. Boom! The golden sword light was like a meteor, flying thousands of miles away in an instant. Boom! The earth cracked, and an abyss-like sword mark divided the earth into 2 sides. It stretches for thousands of miles. The severed Chongjiang sword was easily retracted. Wu Yong turned around, jumped, and struck out with another sword in the air. Kang Long Zuri. Roar. The sword glow was like a black dragon with golden lines all over its body. A dragon roar resounded throughout the world, and the black dragon with golden lines crashed towards the barren mountain at high speed. Boom. The earth shook and the mountains shook. A huge tunnel suddenly appeared in the middle of the barren mountain, and the black dragon with golden lines crashed directly through the mountain. A large hole is formed in the middle of the mountain. After performing the second move, Wu Yong immediately held the sword with both hands, and the remaining 70% of the spiritual power in his body was immediately absorbed by the Chongjiang sword. A huge golden light soared into the sky, and the golden light was suddenly filled with thousands of sword intentions. The violent sword intentions were like wild horses running wild, constantly hitting the golden light barrier in the huge golden light. 10,000 swords returned to the clan. Use both hands to chop down hard. Boom, boom. Thousands of swords emitted a rumbling sound as they slashed through the barren mountain at top speed. Boom. Amidst the huge roar, the barren mountains turned into flat ground. The huge rocks on the mountain were shattered by thousands of swords. 100-meter-high mountain was immediately smashed to pieces by the strongest move of the Chongjiang sword technique. 10,000 swords returned to the clan. The dust of the thick fog spreads all over the sky and the earth, and a radius of 100 miles is filled with this thick dust. In this situation, the dust may not dissipate within a few months. At this time, Wu Yong's spiritual power was exhausted. He looked at the Chongjiang sword in his hand and nodded with satisfaction. Then he took back the storage bag and took out the dragon scale halberd. As soon as the dragon scale halberd was taken out, it made a halberd sound, ah! The dragon scaled halberd emitted a shock wave, as if protesting why he didn't take it out immediately. Looking at the dragon scale halberd in his hand, Wu Yong felt the fluctuations coming from the halberd's body. He knew without testing that the destructive power of this dragon scale halberd was definitely greater than that of the Chongjiang sword. At this time, Wu Yong, holding the dragon scale halberd in his hand, was like a god of war. Although no spiritual power was emitted from his body, he still gave people a sense of oppression as if he was facing thousands of troops alone. He touched the body of the dragon scale halberd with his hand, and just as he was about to put it back into the storage bag, the body of the dragon scale halberd emitted another shock wave. This dragon scale halberd seemed to have lost his temper, as if to say that Wu Yong looked down on it, so he attacked without injecting spiritual power. Wu Yong seemed to be aware of the dragon scale halberd's temper, so he reluctantly took out a handful of spirit recovery pills and stuffed it into his mouth, sat down cross-legged and began to restore his spiritual power. An hour later, Wu Yong opened his eyes, and with one hand, a dragon scale halberd suddenly appeared in his hand. Phew! Wu Yong, holding the dragon scale halberd, rushed directly into the air. The spiritual power in the body is crazily injected into the dragon scale halberd, and the dragon scale halberd is constantly dancing in the air and sweeping. The wrath of the blue dragon. Roar. A series of attacks were swung out from the dragon scale halberd, turning into green dragons and rumbling in all directions. Bang, 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 bang. The sound of explosions continued to be heard within a radius of 100 miles. In just one breath, the ground within a radius of 100 miles was riddled with holes, and all the trees turned into sawdust. Wu Yong flew another 100 miles with the dragon scale halberd. In the air, his body was bent like a fully drawn bow and arrow. The dragon scale halberd held high was like a thunderbolt from the outer domain. The spiritual power in Wu Yong's body was exhausted again, and was absorbed by the dragon scale halberd in an instant. Thunderous fury. He shouted and chopped down the dragon scale halberd with force. Boom! A huge thunderbolt illuminated the entire night sky. A huge lightning bolt was chopped out by Wu Yong from the dragon scale halberd. Boom! The light flashed for thousands of miles, and the indescribably powerful lightning turned all the plants around into ashes. A huge thunder abyss stretched out in all directions. The ground here seemed to be split. The heaven and earth shook. After doing all this, Wu Yong took back the dragon scale halberd, took out a handful of healing pills and stuffed them into his mouth, and his body fell into the thunder abyss. Sitting cross-legged on an underground platform, he began to recover his spiritual power. 3 days later, Wu Yong used up all the healing pills to restore his spiritual power to its peak. He opened his eyes and his body soared into the air. At this time, the sky was bright and clear. Wu Yong looked at the ground that was destroyed 3 days ago because of his testing of spiritual tools. At this time, looking down from midair, thousands of miles in radius used to be full of high mountains, but now it is full of dense and bottomless abysses. What a sin, ah! Wu Yong laughed at himself, and his body disappeared as soon as he thought of it. Now with the strength of the late Yuan in great perfection, he can use the thought of 1,000 miles, and the spiritual power in his body will not be consumed too much, so Wu Yong did not save it. 3 days later, he arrived in Longbo City. He wanted to go to Wanlong Commercial Bank to see if he could take away some spiritual stones. After all, even the smallest flies are meat. As soon as he stepped into the door of Wanlong Trading Company, Zhang Qinghai, who was introducing magic weapons to customers, saw Wu Yong and immediately put down the customer in his hand, waved his hand and called a waiter to continue the introduction. Brother Wu, oh, rare guest, please come in quickly. Even if Longbo City is not a big city, the Zhang family is one of the best families in the vicinity. Zhang Qinghai certainly knows that Wu Yong is now the guardian elder of the 5 sects alliance. So when Wu Yong entered the door, he put down all his work and respectfully welcomed him into the inner hall. Go and make a pot of the best purple gold spiritual tea, and then bring a plate of high-quality spiritual fruits to the inner hall. When passing by the counter, Zhang Qinghai ordered a waiter who was standing at the time. Yes, the waiter trotted away respectfully. Wu Yong followed Zhang Qinghai to the inner hall, and soon the waiter brought spiritual tea and spiritual fruits. Zhang Qinghai respectfully poured a cup of spiritual tea and placed it in front of Wu Yong, and spoke respectfully again. I don't know what's the important matter that senior brother Wu has come here for this time. As long as it is within the capabilities of Wanlong Commercial Bank, I will definitely go through fire and water and die without hesitation. Shopkeeper Zhang, it's not that serious. I just want to see how the Tianxian mask is selling these days. So that's it. Senior brother Wu has earned a total of 3 million low-grade spirit stones from the Tianxian mask in the past 3 months, of which your share is 1.5 million. I was thinking of sending someone to Zion sect in a few days. After all, the 5 sects alliance was just established in the past 2 months, so outsiders are not allowed to approach. That's why it was delayed for 3 months. Well, give me these 1.5 million low-grade spirit stones. Since you have a good business, pick out some of these magic weapons to make up 2 million low-grade spirit stones, and I'll take them all away. Haha, thank you senior brother Wu, then I won't be polite. Wu Yong gave Zhang Qinghai enough face and took out a storage bag of magic weapons for him to choose. Anyone would pick the ones that are easy to sell. After a while, Zhang Qinghai picked out more than a dozen magic weapons, bowed and saluted, and then left. After a while, he brought back a storage bag. Brother Wu, here are 2 million low-grade spirit stones, please keep them. Okay, then I won't disturb you from doing business. You should send the future share to the current 5 sects alliance and give it to the saint girl. Just say I said so. Yes, brother Wu, take care. After collecting 2 million low-grade spiritual stones from Wanlong Trading Company, Wu Yong walked out of Longbo City and headed towards Lintian City. Thinking that he was about to arrive at Lintian City, Wu Yong was full of expectations. He, Sister Lu, I'm coming. While he was flying, he was smiling so much that his mouth was drooling. He faced the beautiful master and junior sister every day in Zion sect. Although he liked them very much, he still didn't have the courage to take action. After all, the people in the sect were so blind. Although Lu Qingqing is also his woman, she cannot leave Qingling Peak to spend the night outside because this is a sect rule. It's better to be in Lintian City, you can do whatever you want, he. With this thought in mind, the flying speed unknowingly accelerated. At this time, Ku Wudi, the ancestor of the Ku family, and Zheng Heilong, the ancestor of the Zheng family, were talking in the Ku family hall. Now that the great demon sect is gone, the two of them plan to annex the entire Lintian City. Fellow Taoist Ku, if you and I join forces, the old immortals Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruihai are no match for us. HMPH, a boy who has just entered the late stage of nascent soul and an injured old immortal cannot make any trouble. Now is a good time for you and me to take action. Okay, I will go back immediately to mobilize the members of the clan and start a full-scale war against the Lu family and the Ning family. From now on, there will only be two major families in Lintian City. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha, that's very good. I will immediately send my clan disciples to sweep across Lu Ning's two shops in the city. After taking back all the territory, we will attack the Lu family and the Ning family. Quote, farewell, I will go back immediately to mobilize the family members. Zheng Heilong stood up, clasped his fists, and then left the Ku family with a loud laugh. Ku Wudi also laughed arrogantly, and then came to the door. Come here, call all the children of the family to come to me. Yes, ancestor. As soon as he heard the voice, a young man ran over from the side and bent down to salute. After a while, the Ku family's family meeting hall was filled with people, and everyone was chattering. At this time, Ku Wudi walked out of the inner hall, and everyone in the Ku family fell into silence when they saw their ancestor coming out. Now that the Great Demon Sect has been destroyed by the Five Sects Alliance, our Ku family's position in Lintian City should also move forward. I have called you here today, and I want to announce something, that is, our Ku family will join forces with the Zheng family and annex the Lu family and the Ning family. Where are the second elder and the third elder? Quote. The two old men at the bottom of the crowd immediately walked out. Exist. The two of you are responsible for leading the clan members to sweep away all the Lu family's properties in Lintian City within 2 days. I have the order. I will definitely live up to my ancestors' great hope. Following Ku Wudi's order, the disciples of the Ku family were led by the second elder and the third elder, who were in the middle stage of nascent soul, started to take action on the major shops and sites of the Lu family. In a restaurant belonging to the Lu family, a dozen Jindan disciples from the Ku family rushed in and started smashing it. Bang 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 bang. Everyone who doesn't want to die, get out. When some guests who were eating heard that the visitor was so vicious, they immediately dropped their chopsticks and ran out of the restaurant. Hearing the commotion, 5 or 6 Lu family guards rushed out from the inner hall, and at a glance they saw people wearing Ku family uniforms. How dare you, the Ku family, dare to come and run wild on my Lu family's territory? Brothers, take action. Ah, everyone in the Lu family immediately drew their swords and rushed forward. Ha ha ha, today I not only want to act wild, I also want to kill people. Do it, leave no one behind. Quote, boom, bang bang bang. The two families immediately fought together. This kind of thing happens in all the major shops of the Lu family in Lintian City. At this moment, in the Wanbao Tower, the third elder of the Ku family and more than a dozen members of the Ku family's Jindan stage are controlling everything. Don't break the things here. These all belong to my Ku family. From now on, this Wanbao building will belong to my Ku family's property, ha 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 ha. Lu Mei and 5 or 6 waitresses were standing opposite the third elder. Seeing the old man's wretched look, she couldn't help but feel nauseated. Ku Laosan, are you too arrogant? Do you have the ability to annex my Lu family? Lu Mei, ha ha ha, I see how you are, but I don't know if your mouth will still be so hard after I get you into bed. Come here, please be careful not to damage anything here. Quote. After the third elder finished speaking, he immediately grabbed Lu Mei with his big hand. Seeing Ku Laosan attack, Lu Mei escaped from the entrance of Wanbao Tower in a flash. Want to leave? Have you left? He he he, with your hot and graceful figure, after today you will be my crotch toy, Ku Laosan. Bang, Lu Mei, who was in the early stage of nascent soul, couldn't escape after all, and was hit from behind by Ku Laosan. Poof, Lu Mei stopped with blood at the corner of her mouth and was stopped by Ku Laosan. You little girl, you are just in the early stage of nascent soul and you can't make big waves. Then try it. Seeing that there was no hope of escape, Lu Mei took out a soft sword and poured her spiritual power into it crazily. With the input of spiritual power, the soft sword suddenly became gleaming with golden light. Ku Laosan laughed, and his spiritual power covered his fists. He rushed towards Lu Mei. Lu Mei swung her sword at Ku Laosan, who was charging at a high speed. Boom, the golden sword light was shattered by Ku Laosan's punch. Bang 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 bang, Ku Laosan started fighting with Lu Mei as soon as he got close. His moves were fierce, and he had no idea of mercy at all. A woman whose realm was lowered by another level. Under Ku Laosan's crazy attack, Lu Mei only lasted a dozen moves before she was knocked away by Ku Laosen's punch. Boom! It hit the hawker stalls on both sides of the street hard, and poof, vomited out a large mouthful of blood. As the shopkeeper of Wanbao Tower, how could Lu Mei not have anything to save her life? She just didn't want to use it until the last minute. But now there is no need to worry that he is really going to be seriously injured by this Ku Laosen, because his body has given him an advantage in vain. Lu Mei no longer hesitated at this moment. She took out a golden talisman and stamped it with a seal. Boom! The golden talisman turned into a small teleportation array. Lu Mei stepped into it, her body disappeared and the talisman dissipated. Everything happened very fast, and before Ku Laosen could react, Lu Mei's figure disappeared along with the golden talisman. You fool, you will become my furnace sooner or later, let me see where you can run. Ku Laosen returned to Wanbao Tower viciously. At this time, the 5 waitresses had been beaten by Ku family disciples until they vomited blood. Leave 2 people here to guard, the others follow me. As soon as he returned to Wanbao Tower, Ku Laosen immediately spoke. After leaving 3 young people to guard him, he took the other 8 young people to the next place. Within half a day, the entire Lintian city was full of fighting sounds, and most of the Lu family's territory had been captured by the people sent by the Ku family. Lu Mei used the teleportation talisman to return to Lu's house, and spit out a large mouthful of blood as soon as she appeared. Puff, elder brother. He fell into a coma before he finished speaking, and someone rushed out of the Lu family hall. Dressed in white, with a resolute face, he rushed to Lu Mei and picked her up. Sister, who hurt you so badly? Just when Lu Yunlong wanted to take Lu Mei into the house to heal his injuries, an injured tribesman rushed in from outside the door. Clan leader, the Ku family. The Ku family has taken action against us. All the properties in the city have been captured. That's too much. You go down to heal your injuries first. I have my own countermeasures. After saying that, Lu Yunlong hugged Lu Mei and entered the house. The most important thing now was to help his sister heal her injuries. Another half day passed like this, and the members of the Lu family outside were dead and wounded, and now there were only about 30 people gathered in the hall of the Lu family. 10 early nascent soul elders and 20 Jindan stage clansmen. Lu Yunlong also stabilized Lu Mei's injury at this time and came to the main seat in the hall. Clan leader, the Ku family has gone too far to bully others, we will fight with him. As soon as a fiery-tempered elder of the early nascent soul stage saw Lu Yunlong appear, he immediately stood up and clasped his fists and spoke. I already know about this matter. The most important thing now is to take good care of the injured clan members. I will wait for the rest until I come back. I want to go to the Ning family. Yes, although the Lu family members are angry, they have not yet reached the point of losing their minds. Now hundreds of tribesmen are injured. Lu Yunlong is right when he says that the injured tribesmen should be treated first. After Lu Yunlong arranged everything, he flashed towards the Ning family. On the other hand, the Ning family is not much better now. The old man of the Ning family was already injured. He was injured by the 2 brothers Yu Yangshu and Yu Yangchun from the Great Demon sect. His realm dropped from the great perfection of the late nascent soul to the late nascent soul. The fall in realm was not the most terrifying thing. The scariest thing was that he also had several meridians broken. After 2 years of retreat and healing, he has recovered less than 60%. That's why the Ning family has been so low-key in the past 2 years. Even the eldest daughter of the Ning family doesn't have a few bodyguards around her when she goes out. Ning Kier, who was rescued by the man in black robe before, was the eldest lady of the Ning family. She almost lost her virginity when she was surrounded by several demon cultivators from the Great Demon sect. Fortunately, at the critical moment, a man in black robes descended from the sky and killed those demon cultivators, and he took the opportunity to escape. The Zheng family had captured all the Ning family's property half a day ago, and now everyone in the Ning family is gathered in the family hall. Everyone is panicking. The current head of the Ning family, Ning Shiji, is Ning Kier's father. Ning Shiji is sitting on the throne with a sad face. Patriarch, what should we do? My hometown is in retreat, and the Zheng family and the Ku family are so aggressive. My Ning family is in danger. As the elder spoke, the hall suddenly became filled with discussions. Ning Shiji, who was sitting in the main seat, slapped the table. That's enough. Isn't it chaotic enough? Please be quiet. With Ning Shiji's loud shout, the originally noisy scene suddenly became silent. Can the problem be solved by arguing here? My father is in retreat now. When the family is in crisis, you don't show the backbone that the Ning family should have. Instead, you are here to worry about nothing. Clan leader, we are not unfounded. The Zheng family and the Ku family are really too strong. Why don't we send the eldest daughter out for marriage and see if we can exchange the marriage for a chance of survival for my Ning family? As this elder of the early stage of nascent soul spoke out his words, everyone around him agreed. You started talking to me again. Yes, that's right. Doesn't the young master of the Zheng family like our eldest lady? Maybe sending the eldest lady over to the Zheng family will stop him. The young master of the Zheng family. Isn't he the playboy who likes to use women as a furnace? Miss, are you willing to serve as a furnace for others? In this time of crisis for the family, she has no choice but to be unwilling. Listening to the voice below, Ning Shiji already wanted to kill someone. These Ning family members all want to force themselves to give their daughters away to be used as furnaces for others. Clan leader, stop hesitating and send the eldest lady out. The elder just now spoke loudly again, and other tribesmen also spoke in agreement after seeing this. Ning Shiji's pressure in the middle nascent soul stage was released with all his strength. He rushed down from the main seat and grabbed the leading elder by the collar. Ning Zhanren, tell me, how old is your daughter? Clan leader, I say, don't tell me to die. My daughter is 13 years old now. Ning Shiji threw Zhanren aside and spoke directly. Come here, send Ning Zhanren's 13-year-old daughter to the young master of the Zheng family. 2 family guards ran in outside the door. After receiving the order, they ran towards Ning Zhanren's yard. At this time, Ning Zhanren's face was ashen and he spoke crazily. No, patriarch, no, patriarch. Ning Shiji is already furious. His own daughter is fine, but not your daughter. Didn't they just force themselves to give away their daughters one by one? Why not? He is still young, patriarch. She still has many years to live, so she can't. Ha 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 ha, my daughter, Ning Shiji, can do it, but your daughters can't. Not only do you have no spine, you are also shameless. At this time, everyone in the hall was trembling. Under the full pressure of the mid-stage nascent soul, some low-level disciples could no longer stand and fell to the ground. After a while, 2 guards brought a 13-year-old girl. As soon as they entered the hall, Ning Zhanren rushed over. Flowers, my flowers, patriarch, please let her go and don't send her to be used as a furnace. I am just such a daughter. Quote. You only have one daughter. I, Ning Shiji, don't have only one daughter. Don't you advocate sending your daughter away for marriage. Send your daughter over today so that the Zheng family can use it as a furnace in 2 years. Quote. As soon as she heard that her family was going to send her out to be used as a furnace, Zheng Shalwa burst into tears. Wow. Ning Shiji looked at the little girl who was frightened and crying, and then looked at Ning Zhanren. Okay, take your daughter and get out. If you want to lick the Zheng family, get out of the Ning family. And you, whoever wants to please the Zheng family can leave now. As Ning Shiji said these words, more than a dozen Ning family members stood up and walked out, and Ning Zhanren was among them. They will not follow the Ning family to die, they will become licking dogs and lick the Zheng family's ass. At this time, there were only dozens of Ning family members left in the hall, and Ning Shiji returned to his seat. The only ones left now are the upright members of my Ning family. The head of the Lu family has sent me a message. He will be here soon. After the head of the Lu family arrives, we will discuss how to deal with the Zheng family and the Ku family. It's the clan leader. I swear to defend the Ning family to the death. Everyone below said in unison. After a while, Lu Yunlong arrived at the Ning family and was led by the guards into the hall. Clan Chief Lu, please take a seat. When Ning Shiji saw Lu Yunlong, he immediately stood up to greet him, and Lu Yunlong sat directly next to Ning Shiji without any courtesy. Okay, Chief Lu is here. Our Ning family and Lu family have a cooperative relationship, but now we have to share the same hatred. Clan leader Ning, I wonder what the casualties of your Ning family are today. More than half of them were killed or injured. I'm not afraid that Chief Lu will laugh at me. More than a dozen members of my Ning family have defected and gone to join the Zheng family. Whether you defected or not, the province stabbed us at a critical moment. My Lu family also suffered heavy casualties, and my sister was seriously injured and fell into a coma. I came here today to think about whether we can bring the two families together so that we can fight together. After all, we are weak. If we are separated, I am afraid we will be defeated one by one. Quote. Clan Chief Lu is right. Our two families should get together. I wonder what Chief Lu can do about it. At this time, a loud and majestic voice came from outside the door, and then an old man with a tall body and white hair walked in. Old Patriarch, Father, Senior Ning. When everyone saw the old man entering the door, they immediately stood up, clasped their fists and spoke. Sit down, everyone, sit down. Chief Lu, there is no need to be polite. Please take a seat quickly. Grandfather. When Ning Kier saw Ning Ruahai, she immediately ran up and hugged him. Ha ha ha, be good. Grandpa is here. Ning Ruahai looked at the eldest granddaughter in her arms with a loving expression. My dear granddaughter, please sit down first. Grandpa wants to discuss important matters with Patriarch Lu. Ning Ruahai let go of Ning Kier and walked up to the main seat. Ning Shiji immediately stood up and gave up the position to his father. Clan Chief Lu, please tell me what you have to say. Our two families must share the same hatred at this time. Senior Ning, my Lu family has a defensive formation passed down from the family. Even if Ku Wudi and Zheng Heilong attack at the same time, they will not be able to attack in 10 or 8 days. During this time, our two families sent clan members to ask for help from the Five Sects Alliance. My sister Lu Mei's Wanbao Tower has a cooperative relationship with the disciples of the Zion sect. We can seek his help. As long as the Five Sects Alliance sends people to support our two families, the crisis will be solved. Quote. That's great, then I will organize everyone in the Ning family, let's go back to your Lu family together, and then send the disciples asking for help out of the city overnight. The two clan leaders hit it off immediately, and Ning Ruahai immediately spoke to the Ning family members. Everyone, go back and take your belongings immediately. Don't take anything else. Pack lightly and follow me to Lu's house. Set off in a quarter of an hour, as soon as possible. When everyone in the Ning family heard the old patriarch speaking, they immediately turned around and went home, taking their wives and children to gather at the door. A quarter of an hour later, Ning Ruahai and Lu Yunlong led the Ning family's huge crowd and began to rush to the Lu family. At this time, there were hundreds of people in the Ning family, old and young. Everyone simply brought a few clothes with them and nothing else. After all, what's the use of having so many external possessions if you can't survive? It's better not to take them with you. When the group was halfway there, two people appeared in the air and blocked everyone's way. Ning Ruahai and Lu Yunlong immediately spotted the two figures in the sky. Shiji, you take the clan members and rush to the Lu family first. Chief Lu and I will cut off the rear for you, so hurry up. Hearing Ning Ruahai's anxious words, Ning Shiji didn't show any pretense and immediately led the Ning family members and ran towards the Lu family. Ha 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 ha, Ning Ruahai, you are not dead yet. Your Ning family members have already joined our Zheng family. It seems that there is no difference between you, the clan leader, and your death. Ha ha ha, fellow Taoist Zheng, don't talk nonsense to them, suppress them with all your strength, and then massacre both of their families. Lintian City will belong to our two families from now on. After Ku Wudi said this, he took action immediately. A black glove immediately covered his fists, and he attacked Lu Yunlong. When Zheng Heilong saw this, he stopped talking nonsense, took out a fairy sword, and attacked Ning Ruahai directly. Ning Ruahai was originally in the late stage of nascent soul, but his realm fell after being injured, and now he is still seriously injured. But despite this, he was still not afraid. He raised his hand and a grey iron rod was in his hand, and he attacked Zheng Heilong. The two fought in the air, and the sword rays were blocked by the iron rods, making bursts of explosions. Boom, boom, boom. Ning Shiji looked back at the battlefield, tears streaming from the corners of his eyes. He knew that his seriously injured father was buying time for the rest of his tribe to escape. Hurry, follow up quickly, don't let the old patriarch buy us the time to escape. After hearing this, everyone's pace quickened a bit. Ku Wudi and Lu Yunlong are fighting inseparable at this moment. After all, both of them are in the late nascent soul stage. Although Ku Wudi reached this state hundreds of years earlier than Lu Yunlong is not behind at all. Lu Yunlong swung his long sword, and his attacks landed on Ku Wudi's fists. Boom, 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 boom. Every time Ku Wudi punched, a sword light shattered, and the two of them hit the ground from the air. After hundreds of rounds, no one fell at a disadvantage. Zheng Heilong was holding the fairy sword at this time, and the spiritual power of the late nascent soul in his body exploded. The fairy sword suddenly shines brightly. The dragon goes out to sea. The celestial sword in his hand was thrown out by Zheng Heilong, and the celestial sword suddenly turned into a sword light like a big snake, and I saw a horn growing out of the head of this big snake. He rushed towards Ning Ruihai with his mouth wide open. Ning Ruihai ignored the injuries in his body and forcibly mobilized all his spiritual power. The iron rod in his hand was swung into a circular shield. Boom, boom. The dragon transformed from the fairy sword suddenly hit Ning Ruihai's iron rod. There was a huge explosion, and the shock wave generated by the explosion flattened the surrounding houses directly. Boom. Ning Ruihai was knocked away by the impact and hit hard among the ruins. Poof. Vomited out a large mouthful of black blood. He had serious internal injuries originally, but this time he was even more injured. Zheng Heilong no longer paid attention to Ning Ruihai at this time, but flew to the battlefield between Ku Wudi and Lu Yunlong, and joined forces with Ku Wudi and the two. With the addition of Zheng Heilong, Lu Yunlong's pressure suddenly increased. On the one hand, he had to face Ku Wudi's fist, and on the other hand, he had to guard against Zheng Heilong's sword light. Boom, boom, boom. Although Ku Wudi and Zheng Heilong jointly had the upper hand, they still couldn't defeat Lu Yunlong for a while. The battlefield between the three men suddenly expanded, and the houses around them exploded and turned into ruins. 3 monks in the late nascent soul stage took action in the city, and the destructive power can be imagined. Just when Ku Wudi was fighting Lu Yunlong at close range, Zheng Heilong's body soared into the air and his spiritual power exploded. He used the same move again, and a black dragon bit Lu Yunlong from the air. Lu Yunlong, who was fighting Ku Wudi, found out and immediately distanced himself. He took out a shield from his storage bag. Boom, the dragon hit the shield. Click, click. Under the huge explosion, the shield suddenly shattered, and the black dragon turned into a flying sword and was struck by Lu Yunlong's sword and flew back. When Ku Wudi saw Lu Yunlong's flaw, he immediately got close and punched out. Bang! Lu Yunlong was attacked from behind by Ku Wudi, and his body was directly punched away. Boom! It hit the ruins heavily and landed next to Ning Ruihai. All the ribs in his body were broken. Puff! Lu Yunlong spit out a large mouthful of blood and forced himself to take out a golden talisman. Senior Ning. He used his last bit of strength to call out to Ning Ruihai. At this time, Ning Ruihai, who was seriously injured and dying, also stood up with all his strength and quickly came to Lu Yunlong's side to support him. Lu Yunlong struck a seal on the golden talisman, and a small teleportation array suddenly appeared. Lu Yunlong took Ning Ruihai and stepped into it. The figure disappeared with the golden talisman. Ah, let them run away. When Ku Wudi saw this, he spoke angrily, while Zheng Heilong spoke to comfort him. It doesn't matter, if the monk can escape, he can't escape the temple. We will go back and organize all the clan members to besiege the Lu family. At the same time, family guards were dispatched to patrol all parts of Lintian City at all times. Anyone found leaving the city would be killed directly to prevent them from asking for help. Quote, Zheng Daoyu is still thinking comprehensively, but I am too impatient, so let's make arrangements like this and besiege the Lu family after dark. At this time, Ning Shiji and the Ning family members had also arrived at the Lu family. Not long after they arrived, a golden light suddenly appeared in the Lu family yard. A teleportation array lit up, and Ning Ruihai and Lu Yunlong supported each other and walked out of the array. Old Patriarch, Father, Clan Leader. When members of the Ning family and Lu family saw their respective clan leaders returning injured, they immediately rushed to help them. Hurry and help Senior Ning in for treatment. All the Yuan Ying stage elders of the Lu family and all the Yuan Ying stage elders of the Ning family will cooperate with each other to control the Lu family's protective array in batches. Yes. After Lu Yunlong finished speaking, everyone started to move, and 2 Jindan disciples helped him into the secret room. Wu Yong arrived at Lintian City at this time, and for some reason there were so many guards at the city gate today. He whistled and ate melon seeds and arrived at the city gate. When he was about to enter, he was stopped by someone. "Stop, come here and get checked." The monk guarding the city who Wu Yong looked at in confusion pointed at himself with his finger. "Yes, it's you, sneaky, come here and get checked." As soon as he threw the melon seeds in his hand, Wu Yong clapped his hands and walked towards the monk. "Brother, I still need to check. Don't I have the token of Lintian City with me? You can't see it. This token is now invalid. Now I have to go to the city and pay 20 low-grade spiritual stones again." "I'm throwing. Why are you so fierce? Isn't it just 20 low-grade spiritual stones? Take it. Yesterday I met a wild dog on the road. Seeing that it was hungry, I spent 30 spiritual stones to buy it food." Quote. Throwing away 20 low-grade spiritual stones, Wu Yong walked into Lintian City with his head held high. Ku Laosin left and returned in Wanbao building. He returned here after cleaning up other properties of the Liu family. "It's unlucky, that guy the second guy actually got the lead. It's all your fault that you can't win over the second guy's men even if you're trying to grab the territory. What's the use of you?" Ku Laosin walked into Wanbao building while cursing the dozen or so men who were following him. When he entered the store, he saw 5 waitresses squatting in the corner and shivering. Looking at several waitresses dressed in hot clothes, Ku Laosin suddenly became angry. He walked up to the 5 waitresses, directly picked up the plump one and dragged her towards the counter. "Ah, don't, please spare my life, woo woo woo." No matter how the plump waitress screamed, Ku Laosin started directly. "No, help, help me, someone help me. Help, let's see who can save you today." Bang, Ku Laosin slapped the waitress on the face, and a black palm print suddenly appeared on her face. "I'll beat you to death if you move around, you stinky idiot." The other 4 waitresses in the corner were so frightened that they flew away. His face turned pale. More than a dozen other Ku Jia disciples burst out laughing. "Third elder, can you please reward the brothers for a while so that we can have a good time? Hey hey hey. Watch carefully, I will reward you when I'm done playing. Ha 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 ha." Ku Laosin was like a mad lion, and tears could not stop flowing down the waitress's calm face. "Didn't you scream for help very loudly just now? Why don't you scream now? Are you mute? If you scream for help, I will beat you to death." Listening to Ku Laosin's words, the waitress was looking at the demon with resentful eyes. If she could turn into a ghost after death, she would definitely come back and eat the demon Ku Laosin alive. At this time, there was not a single good spot on the waitress's body, and everything was covered in blue and purple. The Ku family disciples watching Ku Laosin's performance burst into laughter. Wu Yong walked to the door of Wanbao Tower, thinking that he would see his Bai Yugong soon, and he was very excited. "Sister Liu, I'm here." Dang dang. He jumped in directly from the door. He thought Lu Mei was either busy or settling accounts on the second floor. He never expected to see this scene as soon as he came in. "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" Wu Yong shouted and pointed at Ku Laosin. The 4 waitresses squatting in the corner all knew Wu Yong and immediately called for help. "Master Wu, help me, the shopkeeper has been by him." The 4 squatting waitresses shouted for help, crying at the same time. Wu Yong understood what they meant even though he was stupid. When the dozen Ku family disciples saw Wu Yong coming in, they immediately drew their swords and surrounded them. "Boy, you are looking for death. How dare you dictate how our Ku family handles things? Ku Jia, I think you are looking for death." Wu Yong's eyes turned red after hearing the news that Lu Mei had been insulted by Ku Laosin. He rushed directly towards these dozen Ku family disciples. Grabbing the collar with one hand, making a fist with the other hand and hitting him directly on the head. Boom! A punch to the head, white brains and red blood flew out. One punch directly smashed the head of this disciple of the Ku family, and as soon as the body was thrown away, it headed towards the next disciple. Bang 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 bang. In less than 2 breaths, a dozen headless corpses were thrown together. Each one of them had his head blown off with one punch. At this moment, Wu Yong was like a murderer from hell, his eyes filled with monstrous rage. "Boy, you're looking for death." Ku Laosin roared angrily. Wu Yong didn't give him a chance to say a second sentence, he just dodged and grabbed him around the neck. He grabbed Ku Laosen's neck with one hand and lifted him up. A punch hit his dantian, bang. Dantian shattered. Ah! Ku Laosen's face was suddenly full of pain, and a scream came out. Wu Yong made a move with his other hand, and a long sword flew out of the magic weapon area in the store. Fall into hands. PFF'd. He directly raised the long sword in his hand to cut off the source of evil, stuffed the source of all evil into Ku Laosen's mouth, and threw it to the ground with his big hand. Ku Laosen kept rolling in pain at this time. Wu Yong raised his sword and was about to kill him. At this time, the waitress lying on the counter put on a thin shirt and ran over. Master Wu, can you give me the sword? Woo. I want to kill him with my own hands. I want to kill him with my own hands. I want to kill him with my own hands. The waitress kept crying and kept repeating this sentence, I want to kill him with my own hands. Wu Yong looked at the waitress and handed her the long sword in his hand. Then he walked to the corner and helped the 4 waitresses untie themselves, then turned and looked at Ku Laosen. I saw the waitress holding a long sword in her hand, and she kept slashing at Ku Laosen, who was lying on the ground and rolling. Ah! The waitress seemed to be crazy and kept slashing with her sword. After a while, Ku Laosen died, and a Yuanying immediately escaped from his head. Wu Yong was on guard for a long time, and with one big hand he caught Nascent Soul who was just about to escape. At this time, Ku Laosen's body had been turned into countless pieces, but the waitress still kept slashing with her sword. When the other 4 waitresses saw this, they rushed over and grabbed her. Xiaoxia, stop it, he's already dead. Let me go, if you still think of me as a sister, let me go. Xiaoxia cried and shouted, and the 4 sisters immediately let go. At this time, Ku Laosen had turned into Ku Liangbai. Because he was divided into 200 pieces by Xiaoxia. After doing all this, Xiaoxia put the sword across her neck and watched Wu Yong shed tears of joy. Mr. Wu, Xiaoxia, thank you. Without you, I would be dead and unable to take revenge. Puff. After finishing speaking, Xiaoxia slashed her neck with the long sword, and a column of blood spurted out. Xiaoxia. The other 4 waitresses rushed to Xiaoxia who committed suicide and helped her. Why are you so stupid? You still have us. You fool. What should your parents do? Xiaoxia looked at her best sisters and spoke in a weak voice. No. Don't tell me, my parents. Then he died of anger. Ah! Wu Yong looked at Xiaoxia who committed suicide and let out a loud roar. Ku family, I want none of you to be left behind. Tell me, what happened to Sister Lu? Ah! Mr. Wu, when Ku Laosen fell in love with the shopkeeper and wanted her to be the cauldron, the shopkeeper vowed to fight to the death and was chased by Ku Laosen and was seriously injured and escaped. He doesn't know whether he will live or die. Ha. Okay. Ku family, it seems that I was too kind before. Give me a map of Lintian City, I want to kill people. A waitress stood up and ran to a cabinet nearby, and after a while she came back with a map. Wu, Mr. Wu, this is the map of the city. The locations of the branches of the major forces are clearly marked on it. He glanced at the map and nodded. You should bury Xiaoxia safely, and leave the rest to me. I will give justice to Xiaoxia, and I will also seek justice for you. And, my sister Lu. After finishing speaking, Wu Yong walked towards the magic weapon area, wandered around for a while and picked up a fairy binding rope made of monster tendons. He came to the corpses of everyone in the Ku family and tied them all up with immortal ropes. Even Ku Laosen was condensed with his spiritual power and tied together with the immortal ropes. Putting on a black robe and covering his face, Wu Yong walked out of the Wanbao Tower. The fairy binding rope in his hand floated in the air over his shoulder. The length of the fairy binding rope was completely controlled by the operator. Now the fairy binding rope extends outward for more than 10 meters. There were more than a dozen headless corpses tied to the tail. These corpses were floating in the air with the immortal ropes. These corpses were all dressed in the clothes of Ku family disciples. Wu Yong looked at the map in his hand and walked slowly towards the Ku family's location. The monks on the street saw a masked man in black tying the body of a disciple of the Ku family with an immortal rope, and they immediately stayed away. The power of the Ku family can be said to be overwhelming in Lintian City, and now there is a man who not only kills the disciples of the Ku family, but also ties their bodies with immortal ropes, and drags them all over the streets. They didn't dare to offend the Ku family, but they didn't dare to offend the man in black who dared to do such a thing to the Ku family. Wu Yong shuttled through the streets. The noisy crowds on the streets immediately gave way when they saw the bodies floating in the air. Everyone lowered their heads and did not dare to look at the masked man in black, for fear that they would also be tied to the immortal rope. Surround them up. If you dare to kill my disciples of the Ku family, you will die today. Everyone, come to me. At this time, an early nascent soul elder of the Ku family and more than 20 Jindan Foundation establishment disciples surrounded Wu Yong. They were counting the Lu family's property. When he saw someone dared to drag the corpse of a Ku family disciple across the street, the elder immediately rushed out with his men. Seeing these 20 dozen disciples of the Ku family surrounding him, Wu Yong did not say a word and directly used the phantom body technique. Bang 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 bang. After 2 breaths, there were more than 20 headless corpses on the ground, and brains were scattered and blood was flying on both sides of the street. Some low-level monks who had never seen a big scene vomited and fled here quickly. When the early nascent soul elder saw such a situation, he was so frightened that he couldn't even speak. He trembled and wanted to run away. Wu Yong grabbed the elder from the air with his big hand, and the huge suction force grabbed the elder from the air. Want to leave? Have you left yet? Then he grabbed his head with one hand, and bang, a burst of blood mist dispersed. This elder's head was crushed directly, and not even the nascent soul could escape. Wu Yong controlled the immortal binding rope to tie up these 20 headless corpses. At this time, the corpses of more than 40 Ku family disciples were already tied up on the immortal binding rope. Walking on the street, the smell of blood filled the air. An hour later, all the Ku family disciples on the streets of Lintian City were killed. At this time, the tail of the immortal rope split into more than a dozen pieces, with hundreds of headless corpses tied on them, forming a fan-shaped shape behind Wu Yong. At this time, all the cultivators of the Ku family and the Zheng family were besieging the Lu family's protective formation. At this time, several Ku family disciples flew over from a distance. Old ancestor, there are people, there are people, there are people. Ku Wudi saw the panic of several people and got angry immediately. Talk properly, how can you be so panicked? Report to the ancestor. Someone is slaughtering my Ku family disciples, and now they are on the street. What? Who is so bold? Second elder, where is the second elder? Hearing such news, Ku Wudi was instantly angry. I'm here. Take some of your clansmen and go there right now, and bring me the cultivator who massacred my Ku family. I'm going to eat him alive. When Zheng Heilong saw the Ku family in trouble, he immediately ordered the elders beside him to take some of their clansmen to help. The hundreds of people from the Ku and Zheng families quickly headed for the streets in the city. Wu Yong walked around the streets and found that no Ku family disciples dared to come forward, so he turned around and walked towards the Ku family's land. Just after walking a short distance, hundreds of Ku and Zheng family disciples rushed to both sides of the street. When they saw a young man with dozens of headless corpses tied behind him from a distance, they were also terrified. Wu Yong looked at the disciples of the 2 families who surrounded him, and a sinister smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Come on. Without waiting for the 2 families to get close, Wu Yong moved first, and he rushed to one side. Without any weapons in his hands, he made a fist with one hand and kept punching in the crowd. One by one, the Ku family members were shot in the head. Every time a person was killed, there was an extra headless corpse on the immortal rope. The Zheng family members who had not yet rushed to the front saw this situation and looked at the leading elder. A Zheng family member next to him swallowed his saliva, looked at his elder and said, "Do we still want to go up?" Elder. Go up. Don't you see that it is a feud between them and the Ku family? Even the early Yuanying was blown up by his punch. Do you want to go up and die? When the Zheng family heard the words of their elder, they immediately felt that they had saved their lives and turned around and ran away. On the other hand, Wu Yong was like a hungry wolf entering a group of lambs. Massacre, one-sided massacre. One by one, the Ku family members were punched in the head in fear. The Ku family disciples just had their brains and blood splashed on their faces. They didn't have time to wipe it with their hands when they saw a fist hitting their heads. Bang! With fear in his eyes, he was blown up by a punch, and his body was thrown onto the immortal rope, becoming a headless body on it. The massacre lasted for half an hour. It shouldn't have taken that long, but at the end some of the Ku family disciples fled in all directions, which took some time. More than 300 Ku family members died on this street, blood and brains scattered everywhere. Half of the street and the doors and windows of the houses were all red and white. The strong smell of blood would not dissipate for more than a month, and the cultivators in the inns and restaurants did not dare to move. Everyone looked outside in horror, and no one dared to make a sound. At this time, Wu Yong flew up directly, carrying the formation of Lintian City to suppress low-altitude flight. When the cultivators saw Wu Yong flying up, they were shocked and could not replicate it. This is in the city. With the formation suppressing, no one can fly. What kind of cultivation is this? He can actually fly into the air, even at a low altitude. Could it be that this person's cultivation is higher than the person who set up the formation? Thinking of this, the faces of the cultivators turned pale. Wu Yong flew in the direction where the Zheng family members were escaping, and soon followed him from a distance. The leading nascent soul elder of the Zheng family looked back and saw a man in black followed by black headless corpses. The corpses were tied up with fairy ropes and floating behind him. Hurry up and escape back to our ancestors so that we can have a chance of survival. When they heard their elder speak, everyone turned around, but in an instant, they began to speed up and run for their lives. Wu Yong was not in a hurry to catch up with them, but followed them from a distance. Ancestor! Ancestor! This elder of the Zheng family and hundreds of clan members ran from a distance as fast as they could for their lives, shouting as they ran. Zheng Heilong and Ku Wudi immediately looked back, while the other disciples were attacking the Lu family's array with all their strength. The elders of the Lu family and the Ning family in the formation are struggling to support the protective array. When it seems that it can no longer hold up, the next group of people will replace them. Another group of people came on top, and they sat down and began to recover their spiritual power. At this time, the elders of the Zheng family had also run to Zheng Heilong's side, trembling with their legs, pointing behind them and saying, "The god of death is here, he is chasing us." Massacre, one-sided massacre. Everyone in the Ku family was massacred as soon as they arrived. If we hadn't run so fast, we would probably be dead by now. Quote. Now it was Ku Wudi and Zheng Heilong's turn to be shocked. There were more than a dozen in the early stage of nascent soul and several hundred in the golden elixir stage. Even if I stand still and let you kill me, it will take a long time. What kind of cultivation level does this person have? Is it the late nascent soul stage? The two of them thought that they could do it even if they took action. The two late nascent souls on their side were still afraid of him. After a while, the bloody smell of thick fog came, and a black headless corpse appeared in the distance in the sky. Each one was tied up with the rope of the immortal binding. A tall masked man in black was like a demon holding the immortal binding in his hand, rope. Just when Ku Wudi was about to speak angrily, there was an explosion behind him. Boom! The Lu family's defensive formation was breached, and the elders of the Lu family and Ning family who controlled the formation vomited blood. When Zheng Heilong saw that the Lu family's formation was broken, he immediately looked at Ku Wudi. Fellow Taoist Ku, we will take revenge together later. Our immediate priority is to destroy the Lu family and the Ning family first. Just listen to fellow Taoist Zheng. All Ku family disciples obey the order. Attack the Lu family with all your strength. Quote. Zheng family disciples obey the order. Kill all the Lu family and Ning family. Immediately, the monks from the Ku family and the Zheng family controlled the magic weapons in their hands and attacked the Lu family. Lu Yunlong, who was seriously injured, was currently directing the Lu family and the Ning family to fight. Quick, resist them. Separate some people to repair the magic circle as soon as possible. Lu Mei also dragged her seriously injured body out of the house, holding a long sword in her hand. What are you doing out here? Come back quickly. Brother, I am also a member of the Lu family. Do you want me to stay out of the matter when the life and death of the Lu family is at stake? Even if I die for the sake of the Lu family, I will die on the way to kill the enemy. Okay, as expected of me, Lu Yunlong's sister. Today, our brothers and sisters will have to support us even if we die in battle. Boom, bang, bang, bang. The two sides immediately fought together, and the explosions caused by the attacks continued to sound. Lu Mei raised her long sword and charged towards the nearest disciple of the Ku family. Ding, 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 she killed this disciple of the Ku family in just a few moves. The figure flashed and moved towards the next one. After a while, she killed more than a dozen disciples of the Ku family and the Zheng family. At this time, she was breathing heavily, there were more wounds on her body, and the hand holding the sword was trembling. However, she still had firm eyes and kept fighting with others. At this time, a nascent soul elder of the Zheng family took advantage of Lu Mei not paying attention and struck her from behind with a sword. Boom! Lu Mei was struck by a sword and hit the ground heavily. A long sword wound appeared on her back. Blood flowed on her snow-white back, and her clothes were quickly dyed red. Puff! Lu Mei vomited out a large mouthful of blood and stood up tremblingly with her sword propped up on her body. It's time to kill the enemy again. Wu Yong's consciousness that had just appeared spread out and swept the battlefield. When he found Lu Mei, she was being attacked by a nascent soul elder. She was knocked away before she could help Lu Mei. You dare! A roar came from the sky, and a figure like a meteor fell down at a very fast speed. Bang! With one punch, the early nascent soul elder who injured Lu Mei was knocked out. Not even a hair on the body was left, and everything turned into blood mist. She came to Lu Mei and gently supported her. Lu Mei looked at the man in black in front of her in a daze. She knew it was him. At this time, she couldn't help but shed tears. It was only now that she showed the weak side of a woman. Her body softened and fell on the chest of the man in black. At this time, she looked like a woman who had been wronged. Her man was here, and even though she was masked, she still felt it accurately. This was the man she loved. Wu Yong took out a pill and fed it into her mouth, and spoke softly. I'm late. Leave the rest to me. It was a simple sentence, but in Lu Mei's heart, this sentence gave her enough sense of security. Lu Mei, who was crying at this time, hummed softly, and was carried by Wu Yong and flew to Lu Yunlong's side. He punched out a mid-stage nascent soul who was fighting Lu Yunlong, and when Lu Yunlong was shocked, he handed Lu Mei into his hands. Take her back to heal and leave the rest to me. When Lu Yunlong heard what Wu Yong said, he was about to speak. He heard a word that he couldn't refute. Stop talking and take her back to heal. In this sentence, Wu Yong added the pressure of the great perfection in the later stage of yuanying. At this time, Lu Yunlong hugged Lu Mei and walked into the Lu family hall. Wu Yong raised his hand and turned it over, and a mace appeared in his hand. After using the phantom body technique, the figure turned into an afterimage and kept wandering around the battlefield. The lives of the monks from the Ku family and the Zheng family were taken away by him with one blow. Bang, 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 bang. Keep waving the mace in his hand, whether it is the early stage of yuanying, the golden elixir stage, or even the low-level foundation building monks. They were all smashed to death with one stick, one with one stick, two with one stick. Immediately, countless Ku family and Zheng family monks died on the battlefield, all beaten to death by maces. When the monks from the Lu family and the Ning family saw help coming, their morale was immediately boosted, and they all started to counterattack. Disciples of the Lu family, charge forward and fight them. Ning family members, come to me and take revenge. When Ku Wudi and Zheng Heilong saw their monks being killed by the man in black, they immediately attacked the man in black from left to right. Zheng Heilong's golden flying sword shot out a huge golden sword light, while Ku Wudi's spiritual power in his body was concentrated on his fists, and their attacks came towards Wu Yong at great speed. Boom! Wu Yong swung his mace and hit it directly on the flying golden sword light. The golden sword light was smashed into pieces, and Zheng Heilong was bitten and vomited blood. Ku Wudi's fist also followed, and Wu Yong waved the mace again. Boom! A stick hit his fist, and Ku Wudi was sent flying. Bang! It hit the ground hard, and a deep pit was made in the ground. Seeing this, Zheng Heilong directly used his strongest move. The golden flying sword was immediately raised by him, and a seal was struck on it. The golden flying sword suddenly glowed brightly, the golden light rose into the sky, and the fairy sword in front of him kept trembling. Zheng Heilong's late-stage spiritual power was crazily injected into it. The dragon goes out to sea. Go! The golden flying sword turned into a black dragon and crashed towards Wu Yong at high speed. Boom! a huge explosion sounded, dust flew around, the floor shattered, and the Ku family and Zheng family monks who were close were all affected by the shock wave of the explosion. Direct death. After a while, the dust dissipated, and Wu Yang could be seen in the ruins with one hand turned into a claw, grabbing the neck of a black dragon. The black dragon kept twisting its body and trying to break free. Wu Yang squeezed hard, bang. The black dragon dissipated and turned into a golden flying sword again. At this time, cracks appeared on the golden flying sword, and then it turned into fragments and fell to the ground. Chapter 51. The flying sword of his destiny was destroyed, and Zheng Heilong suffered a backlash and spit out a large mouthful of blood. Puff. At this time, his heart had turned from shock to fear. His strongest sword was actually grabbed by the person in front of him with one hand and crushed to pieces. What kind of monster had he provoked? He was trembling all over and about to speak. I saw the shadow of a huge mace filling my eyes. Boom. Zheng Heilong's head was smashed directly with a stick, and nascent soul escaped directly. Senior, have mercy on me. Zheng Heilong Yuanying, who had just escaped, begged for mercy directly. Wu Yang didn't even look at Yuanying, he raised his mace and was about to smash it down. When Zheng Heilong saw that the person in front of him didn't give him a chance, he was no longer afraid of death. Ah, even if you die, I will seriously hurt you. With a roar, Zheng Heilong directly chose to self-destruct his Yuanying. A late-stage Yuanying monk self-destructing his Yuanying was not something that ordinary people could bear. Even the Dzogchen monks in the late nascent soul stage had to retreat 3 points, but Wu Yang was not afraid at all. The spiritual shield directly transformed into reality, and his body was covered with explosive armor. Boom, boom. Zheng Heilong's nascent soul self-destructed, and the huge shock wave turned the entire Lu family's front yard into rubble, and many low-level monks nearby died. Wu Yang relied on the protection of the spiritual sky shield and explosive armor, and his body was thrown back more than 10 meters by the impact. As soon as he stabilized his body, he saw Ku Wudi trying to escape, and then he chased after him with a mace. Bang! A stick hit Ku Wudi on the back. Bang! Ku Wudi was smashed to the ground again, and a deep pit formed on the ground again. Wu Yang flew down, and Ku Wudi was about to choose to self-destruct when he saw the bad guy coming, but Wu Yang immediately used a restraint to seal him. Want to blow yourself up? You don't have this chance. Who are you? Who are you? Our Ku family has never offended you. Why do you want to kill them all? You can go down and ask Ku Renji, ask Ku Jingzhong, and ask Zheng Fan who I am. You. It's you. The man in black robe. You are the man in black robe who killed my great-great-grandson. I thought that the matter between the two of them would just die with them, but your Ku family shouldn't do it. You shouldn't take action against Lu Mei. You shouldn't rape a weak woman. You shouldn't kill the Lu family. You shouldn't. So, are you ready? Are you ready for death? Quote, I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. If you have the ability, show your true colors. Want to know who I am before you die? I won't let you. No more nonsense. Wu Yang raised his mace and kept hitting Ku Wudi. Bang 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 bang. At this time, Ku Wudi's bones all over his body were shattered, and his whole body sank into the soil. Wu Yang reached into the soil with one hand and grabbed Ku Wudi's nascent soul with a single push of his palm. Bang! Ku Wudi's nascent soul was crushed to pieces. At this point, the ancestor of the Zheng family, Zheng Heilong, and the ancestor of the Ku family, Ku Wudi, died. Their era has officially come to an end. It was precisely because of Lu Mei's unique vision that the Lu family ruled Lintian City for the next tens of thousands of years. There is no other reason than that the background is tough enough. When the monks from the Ku family and the Zheng family saw that their ancestors had been killed, they immediately lost their previous arrogance and dropped their magic weapons one by one and ran away. Seeing this situation, Ning Shiji directly ordered the monks of the Ning family and Lu family to counterattack. Groups of monks from the Lu Ning family surrounded and suppressed the fleeing monks from the Ku family and the Zheng family. Wu Yang stopped participating in the ensuing battle and fell down and walked towards the Lu family hall. Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruihai, who were sitting at the main seats, were recovering from their injuries. Lu Mei was also sitting nearby recovering from her injuries. Ning Ka was shocked when she saw a man in black robes carrying a mace walking in. The eyes are red and there are tears flowing out. She was almost insulted by the demon cultivators of the great demon sect before, but it was this figure in black robes carrying a mace who saved her. Now I met my savior again. This time he not only saved her, but also saved the entire Ning family. I didn't even know his name. Ning Ka walked towards the man in black robes by accident. Senior, is it you? Did you save me from the hands of several demon cultivators from the great demon sect in North Street and Alley? That's just a piece of cake. Originally, I was going to destroy the great demon sect's branch. I just happened to be passing by, so you don't have to worry about it. But, when Ning Kier was about to reply, Ning Ruahai opened her eyes, looked at Ning Kier and said, Ka, please don't be rude, get out of here. When Ning Kier heard her grandfather speaking, she immediately retreated reluctantly. Ning Ruahai stood up with difficulty and walked towards Wu Yang. Wu Yang took back his mace and supported Ning Ruahai, who was about to kneel down with one hand. Senior, please accept my respects from Ning Ruahai. Thank you for saving the entire Ning family and the Lu family. It doesn't matter, I said it's just a little effort, don't take it to heart. If the Ku family dares to touch my people, then they must be prepared to be exterminated. Seeing that Wu Yang was not appreciative and Ning Ruahai was standing aside in embarrassment, Lu Yunlong recovered a little from his injuries and stood up to salute. Thank you, Senior, for saving the Lu family. The whole Lu family is grateful. Okay, look at how upright you are, why are you imitating this old man and grinding away? Ah, Lu Yunlong didn't know how to continue with these sudden words. At this time, Lu Mei opened her eyes, looked at the embarrassed Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruahai, and then looked at Wu Yang. How long are you going to pretend to be a senior? If you come a step too late, you will never see me again. Good guy. Ning Ruahai and Lu Yunlong were shocked when they heard Lu Mei's words. Especially Lu Yunlong, it is not difficult to find out from his sister's words that this is his brother-in-law. At this time, his mood was like a roller coaster. Fortunately, he didn't have a heart disease, otherwise how could he have suffered? Wu Yang took off his black robe and face towel and put them back in his storage bag. Ning Ruahai and Lu Yunlong's eyes were about to fall off now, and their mouths opened in an O shape. So young. This is wrong, shouldn't it be an old man? Such a high level of cultivation is just a young man. Not only them, but Ning Kier on the side was also shocked beyond recognition. Isn't this the young master who he asked for help in the first place? It was this young master who ignored him and walked into the alley, and the man in black robe appeared. Now that she thought about it, she understood everything. It turned out that this person had to change into a black robe before doing good things. What kind of fetish is this? Do good deeds without leaving a name. Looking at the shocked people, Lu Mei stood up. Brother, Senior Ning, your eyeballs are about to fall off. Keep tapping with your hands. Oh, please take a seat quickly, this young master, please take a seat. Yes, come and take a seat. It's Lu who has lost his composure. I hope the young master doesn't pay attention. Brother, you and Senior Ning sit there. He and I sit together. Don't mess up the seniority. This. When Wu Yang saw that the two of them were uncomfortable, he immediately said. It doesn't matter, just do what Sister Lu said. After hearing this, Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruahai sat on the main seats. Wu Yang walked to Lu Mei and sat down. Ning Ruahai was the oldest and had seen many scenes. He immediately spoke up to break the awkward atmosphere. I wonder what you call me. Which sect is your fellow Taoist? What Ning Ruahai asked was exactly what Lu Yunlong wanted to know. At this time, he loved Ning Ruahai to death. The question that he did not dare to ask was asked by Ning Ruahai. Wu Yang took out a token with 5 sects engraved on one side and the word Wu on the other. It turns out to be fellow Taoist Wu from the 5 sects alliance. The disciples we sent to ask for help should not be halfway there yet. I didn't meet your disciples asking for help. I just happened to be traveling and wanted to visit Sister Lu in Laishan City, so I came. That's it. This is fate. Brother Lu, I would like to congratulate you first. Where is it? I don't care. You go and congratulate my sister. Lu Yunlong didn't know what to say at that moment, so he just let it go. The main reason was that he didn't dare to take care of it. He couldn't beat him. What if he used his identity as an elder brother to suppress others and make them angry? Brother Lu agreed. Then I congratulate Mr. Wu. Ning Ruihai's efforts to flatter her has a purpose. Although his granddaughter is not so lucky, it is not bad for him to get the position of the wedding officiant because of his age. At least with the name of the officiant, his Ning family will be tied to the Lu family in Lintian City from now on. Although Wu Yang said that his cultivation level was very high, this was the first time he encountered this kind of thing, and his heart started to pound. After all, this was meeting the woman's family, and this was the first time in his life that he had experienced it. Okay, old man, we are happy together. Ha ha ha, it turns out that fellow Taoist Wu is so eclectic. If the old man and I were hundreds of years younger, I would definitely become brothers with different surnames. When Lu Mei saw Ning Ruihai working so hard, she immediately opened her mouth to help Wu Yang. Okay, Senior Ning, I'm afraid your plan will be heard even in the East China Sea, which is thousands of miles away. Ha 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 ha, you little girl exposed me. As everyone chatted, the atmosphere was no longer so awkward. After chatting for a while, Ning Ruihai and Lu Yunlong went to retreat to heal their wounds. Wu Yang helped Lu Mei to her room, and Lu Mei also sat on the bed and began to heal her injuries. Wu Yang returned to Wanbao Tower and stayed there. At this time, Ning Shiji was leading the overall situation, and the monks from the Ning family and the Lu family were constantly encircling and suppressing the disciples of the Ku family and the Zheng family. As the hidden monks of the Ku family and the Zheng family were found and killed one by one, the forces that had been friends with these two families in the past were also trembling. On this day, Ning Shiji was commanding a group of monks to surround several disciples of the Ku family. At this time, more than a dozen people came towards him. They pushed aside the low-level monks of the Ning family and walked toward Ning Shiji. Get out of the way, Patriarch. We are here. I said before that Shiji has the appearance of a heavenly being, but now it seems that I still underestimated him, ha 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 ha. We are back, the clan leader. If there is anything we can do to help, just ask us. We will fight to the death. Quote. Yes, I will not give up even if I die. We will always be tied to the Ning family. These dozen people are the members of the Ning family who defected at the beginning. Now that they see the Ning family's victory, they want to come back and join them. Ning Shiji looked at this group of disgusting clan members. When the Ning family faced a life and death crisis, these people actually betrayed the family and joined the enemy. Now that the Ning family has defeated a powerful enemy, these people came back with licking their faces, saying that they would die for the Ning family. Ning Shiji felt extremely disgusted at this time, looking at the corners of these people's mouths. Didn't you already break away from the Ning family? Why are you coming back? You are not welcome here, so get out. Patriarch, what are you talking about? We are all members of the Ning family. How can you let us go? How can you be worthy of the ancestors of the Ning family? I feel sorry for the ancestors of the Ning family. You betrayed the Ning family and took refuge with the enemy when the Ning family was in danger. Who on earth did you feel sorry for the ancestors of the Ning family? When the ancestors of the Ning family heard what you said, they might be unable to hold down the coffin boards, and they would come and kill you tonight. You bunch of pickpockets, I gave you a chance but you didn't cherish it, now get out of here. Quote. We are not going to leave. We are the Ning family. You, Ning Shiji, have no right to tell us to leave. Ning Shiji was furious with hatred at this moment. Not only him, but also the Ning family disciples beside him were also very angry. This group of shameless people defected at first, but now they are coming back to show off their power. Ning Shiji looked at the group of people who were getting more and more noisy and gave the order immediately. The Ning family listens to the order. Now, as the head of the Ning family, I order to expel Ning Zhanren, Ning Gosheng, Ning Jippo and others from the Ning family. Now I'm counting to 3. If they don't leave the Ning family, I'll kill them immediately. Quote. Ning Shiji, you are so presumptuous. 1, 2. Aha! The surrounding Ning family disciples drew their weapons one after another, waiting for Ning Shiji's final order. 3. When the 3 words fell, the group of people headed by Ning Zhanren immediately surrendered. Don't do anything, let's go now. These scoundrels would only be afraid if they put the knife on their necks. If they didn't leave, Ning Shiji would really dare to kill them. Come on a team of people and watch them leave Lintian City. If you find these traitors returning to Lintian City in the future, you will kill them immediately. Yes. A team leader immediately took the order, led a group of people, and left with Ning Jonren and his group. There was a burst of cheers all around. The Patriarch is mighty, the Patriarch is mighty, the Patriarch is mighty. 2 months passed quickly. Under the leadership of Ning Shiji, the entire Lintian city was recovered. The Lu family and the Ning family formed an alliance, with the Lu family as the leader. Wanbao Tower is back on track under the leadership of Wu Yong, but Xiaoxia can no longer be seen. Whenever they were not busy, several other waitresses secretly hid in the corner and cried. Wu Yong didn't know how to comfort him when he saw this scene, so he simply followed them. That day, a beautiful young woman with fluttering pink clothes and a hot figure walked in the door. When several waitresses saw this woman, they were so happy. The shopkeepers. Ah, from the shopkeeper. This person was Lu Mei, who had just recovered. Lu Mei was very happy to see them at this time. He immediately came over and hugged them. I'm back. Well, the shopkeeper looks beautiful again. Only you are the most talkative, huh? The waitress named Yuer immediately stuck out her tongue, then lowered her head and spoke sadly. The shopkeeper, Xiaoxia. She. Okay, I already know. You guys will go back and visit Xiaoxia's parents later. We, Wanbao Tower, will be fully responsible for the affairs of these two elderly people from now on. Thank you, shopkeeper. What are you talking about? Although you are waiters in the store, I have long regarded you as sisters. A few people chatted for a while, and Wu Yong, who was upstairs, heard the sound and immediately opened the door and came out. Upstairs and downstairs, separated by a staircase, our eyes are facing each other. All the thoughts burst out at this moment. Lu Mei's smile at this time was like a flower blooming in spring. Her joy was self-evident, but she said teasingly, "Hey, Master Wu hasn't left yet. Is he going to stay in my Wanbao Tower? Sister Lu, you are crossing the river and demolishing the bridge, ungrateful, killing the donkey after it has done its job, and burning the boat after the bird is gone. Then how does Master Wu want to punish me? He he he." Seeing the two bickering, several waitresses suddenly laughed and opened their mouths. "Oh, boss, we are going to see Xiaoxia's parents first, and we will come back in the evening, hee hee. You are looking for a fight. Ah, sisters, run. Hee hee hee." Yuer and the other 4 waitresses immediately ran out of Wanbao Tower with a smile. There were only 2 people left in Wanbao Tower, and they looked at each other and smiled at each other. Lu Mei twisted her waist and walked towards the 2nd floor. This graceful figure twisted with her steps, like the feeling of rain hitting banana leaves and wind shaking willows. Her gait was light and elegant. Walking to Wu Yong's side, a body fragrance came, as refreshing as spring rain, and as pure and elegant as the rain hitting the gardenia. Wu Yong smelled Lu Mei's body fragrance, and all his lovesickness turned into evil thoughts. He hugged Lu Mei's waist and lifted her up. "You little goblin dared to make fun of me, I will punish you." Snap. Wu Yong, who was holding Lu Mei, slapped her butt. "Ah, little brother, spare me." Although Lu Mei said this, her head had been buried in Wu Yong's chest. Holding Lu Mei, he turned around and walked into the room. Bang, the door was kicked shut. Lu Mei hugged Wu Yong's neck and the two kissed each other immediately, and the unfinished voice was drowned in the kiss full of affection. The tongues of the two explored every corner of each other's mouth. A spring scene was perfectly presented, and a major event related to human development was being staged on the wet grass. After 2 hours, all the thoughts were integrated into each other. Lu Mei lay on Wu Yong's chest like a docile kitten. She drew circles on her chest with her hands. "Mr. Wu, it's a good thing you arrived in time, otherwise I would never see you again. You are my woman. No matter who wants to bully you, I will make him pay with blood. Well, I am satisfied with you in this life. I also know that I can't have you alone, but you must remember that there is another Lu Mei in Lintian City, Lu Mei who belongs only to Wu Yong." Wu Yong didn't speak, but held Lu Mei's hands tightly. Although there was no word, Lu Mei also understood Wu Yong's intentions from these tightly held hands. Sometimes, two people only need a movement or a look to understand each other's meaning. "Mr. Wu, my brother wants to see you. Before I left, my brother said that he was too busy that day and was seriously injured. Now that he has recovered, he wants to see you and thank you in person for saving everyone in the Lu family." "Ah, Okay, I'll accompany you back later. Do you need to bring some gifts to see my brother-in-law? Lu Mei's face turned red, and she punched Wu Yong in the chest. Just take you with you. There is nothing missing at home. There is nothing missing at home, but you are. Why not leave something for you? Wu Yong turned over, and Lu Mei immediately covered her face. Ah, no, hate it. Women are like this, they say no but their bodies are very honest. The grassland that had just finished a spring rain suddenly began to drizzle again. Wu Yong galloped on his horse and ran wildly on the grassland in the drizzle. 2 hours later, the rain stopped and the horses were tired, so they walked down the stairs. The two came to the hall, and Wu Yong took out a few storage bags and put them on the counter. This is the low-level magic weapon I captured during this period. Just keep it here and sell it. I won't use it anyway. It would be good to exchange it for some elixirs. Well, not only is the slave family yours, but the entire Wanbao Tower is also yours. You can have as many elixirs as you want. Wu Yong scratched Lu Mei's nose with his hand. Little fool, leave quickly. I'll accompany you back home to meet my uncle. Wu Yong took Lu Mei's hand and walked towards Lu's house. At this time, Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruihai were chatting and laughing in the Lu family hall, and Lu Mei walked in from outside holding Wu Yong's hand. Brother, we are back. As soon as Ning Ruihai and Lu Yunlong, who were talking, saw Wu Yong, they immediately stood up to greet him. Master Wu, please take a seat quickly. The Lu Ning family is deeply grateful for this great kindness. You're welcome, brother-in-law, you are too outrageous to say such things. Ha ha ha, Mr. Wu is right, brother Lu, you are out of touch when you say that. Look. Ning Ruihai laughed and pointed at Wu Yong and Lu Mei's hands. At this time, the two people were still holding each other. Lu Mei suddenly felt shy and quickly let go of Wu Yong's hand. It immediately made everyone laugh. Lu Yunlong also reacted at this time. Yes, we are a family, come on, brother-in-law, please have a seat. Wu Yong was embarrassed when he called brother-in-law, while Lu Mei blushed at the side. The few chatted for a while, and Wu Yong took out the elder token of his 5-sect alliance and handed it to Lu Yunlong. Brother Lu, this is my elder order. If the Lu family encounters something that cannot be solved in the future when I am away, you will send someone with this order to the 5 sects alliance to ask for help. Ah, how can this happen, Mr. Wu? Ha ha ha, brother Lu, you're out of town again, aren't you? Mr. Wu just said that one family doesn't speak the same language as the other. You forgot it so quickly. Ning Ruihai made a good assist, and Lu Yunlong, who was a little embarrassed at first, also accepted the elder token. Then he looked at Wu Yong. Where are Mr. Wu planning to go? Will he not be in the 5 sects alliance in the future? I'm ready to go out and practice, and I want to go to those 5th-level cultivation countries. The three of them were also shocked when they heard that Wu Yong was going to the 5th-level cultivation country to gain experience. Especially Lu Mei, who looked worried. How dangerous is the 5th-level cultivation country? Not to mention the places where the gods of the 5th-level cultivation country are located. The road from the 4th-level cultivation country to the 5th-level cultivation country has to pass through hundreds of thousands of mountains. There is a sea of demons in the middle, and this demon sea is full of monsters. According to legend, there are some monsters that are as powerful as the gods. Even if you have the Zochin cultivation of the late nascent soul, you will inevitably encounter danger in the 100,000 mountains and the sea of demons. Quote, don't worry, Sister Lu, which monk won't be in danger? If we give up because we think it's dangerous, then why are we cultivating immortals? In fact, Wu Yong was panicked when he heard Lu Mei's introduction, but for the sake of the middle-grade spiritual stone, and in order to allow himself to break through to a higher realm, he had to bite the bullet and speak. Young Master Wu is right, Lu Yetu, don't worry too much. There is no strong man who has not come out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. We have to believe Mr. Wu. Since my brother-in-law is determined to go to the trial, if there is anything the Lu family can do to help, just ask. That's right, and my Ning family, if Mr. Wu needs anything, my Ning family will be there for me. Finally, we got to the point. Wu Yong was still thinking about how to get some wool. Unexpectedly, the sheep arrived at my door by itself. Ah, ha ha, you two were really too polite, ha ha ha. Well, you do need some spiritual stones when you go out. Ha ha ha, Mr. Wu is such a sweetheart. Our Ning family is willing to give him 2 million yuan of low-grade spiritual stones as travel expenses. Ning Ruihai, an old fox, is indeed a veteran in the world. When he saw Wu Yong's performance, he immediately understood what he meant. Ha ha ha, I am determined to be a friend of the Ning family. Come to me if you need anything in the future. At this time, Lu Yunlong, who was on the side, also reacted and immediately spoke. My brother-in-law wants to go on a long journey, and the Lu family has to express his gratitude at all costs. The Lu family will give 4 million spiritual stones to my brother-in-law for travel expenses. Oh, uncle, you are so polite, ha ha ha, I won't accept your kindness even if I don't accept it. Wu Yong was so happy at this time, 6 million low-grade spiritual stones, ha ha ha. This is 6,000 points. The few people chatted for a while, and then 2 elders walked in from outside, each holding a storage bag. Clan leader, old patriarch, well, put it down. You go down first. Yes, patriarch. The 2 elders put down the storage bags and left. Lu Yunlong and Ning Ruihai pushed the 2 storage bags in front of Wu Yong. Wu Yong smiled and accepted the travel expenses from the 2 families, and left after an hour holding Lu Mei. 2 months later, Wu Yong left Lintian City, and Lu Mei sent him to the city gate. Go back, Sister Lu, don't give it away, I will come back. Wu Lang, be careful all the way, the slave family is waiting for you here. Go back, be good. Lu Mei turned back 3 times with each step. Wu Yong waited until Lu Mei returned to the city, then his body rose into the air and flew towards the sky. 2 days later, in a cave, Wu Yong took out the spiritual stones given by 2 families and weighed them with his hands. System, call, recharge, ding. It is detected that the host needs to recharge, please enter the recharge amount. 6 million low-grade spiritual stones. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully recharging. Earn 6,000 points. The current points are 11,000 points. 11,000 points, we are getting closer and closer to becoming a god. It seems that it is impossible to have enough spiritual stones to rise to the stage of becoming a god in a 4th-level cultivation country. Wu Yong took out the map, looked at it, and put it back again. Rakshasa Kingdom. It's time to go to Shira sect and Wying sect. Even if you can't destroy them, it's good to get some spiritual stones. Just do it. Wu Yong took advantage of the night and flew directly towards the Rakshasa Kingdom. 10 days later, Shira city in the Rakshasa Kingdom was located. This was the city of Shuluo cultivation under the Shira sect. There were not only thousands of Shira sect disciples, but also hundreds of thousands of casual cultivators who lived there. Wu Yong is going to inquire about the specific strength of Shira sect first, and then make the next plan. After handing over 20 pieces of low-grade spiritual stones, Wu Yong entered Shira city and went to the restaurant where most monks gathered and ordered a pot of spiritual wine. He sat down and started listening to various monks chatting. His consciousness covered the entire restaurant, and he heard all the conversations of every monk. Hey, do you think Huang Zihua of Shira sect likes men? I saw him bringing a male cultivator into his cave a few days ago. The rumors can't be true. Stop asking about these things, you think you have a long life. I heard that the leader of Shira sect has broken through to the great consummation of the late nascent soul. Then doesn't Shira sect have 3 monks who have reached the great consummation of the late nascent soul? Yes, I heard about it too. It seems that a ceremony was held the day before yesterday, and several heads of sects and supreme elders were invited to watch the ceremony together. Hey, when can we become nascent soul monks too? It's just you. It's hard for me to see the golden elixir. You know how to visit the brothels every day. Hey, have you heard? The Shira sect's auction house will auction a wide-sleeved glazed fairy dress in 2 days. It is not only a dress, but also a low-grade spiritual weapon. I heard. Wu Yong listened to the conversations of every monk in the restaurant, and the strength of the Shira sect was suddenly overwhelmed by him. This Shira sect actually has 3 nascent soul late-stage Zochin. Fortunately, I came to Shira city instead of joining the Shira sect directly, otherwise my life would be at risk. Wu Yong pondered for a while, and suddenly a plan came to his mind. Hey, since I can't target your sect, then I will rob your auction house. There should be a lot of spiritual stones there. Wu Yong muttered to himself, threw down a few spiritual stones, walked out of the restaurant, and then walked around nearby. After half a day, he explored the entire terrain near the Shira sect auction house. At this time, he was planning a hidden route in his mind. Although he said that he was in the late stage of nascent soul, he definitely couldn't go to war in the city to rob. Otherwise, he would be held back by a group of monks and let the 3 great perfection monks from the Asura sect of the late Yuan Ying stage arrive, and he would not be able to explain himself here. At this time, Wu Yong didn't realize that an old beggar in slovenly clothes was looking at him while he was wandering around. The old beggar nodded while looking at him. Yeah, not bad, not bad. At the age of less than 50, I actually have the Zochin cultivation of the late nascent soul, but it's just a little worse than what I was back then. At this age, I have already transformed into a god. Oh, I forgot that this is a prison in the lower world, it's so rare, ha ha ha. Quote. The old beggar nodded while drinking the wine from the flask. He saw the old beggar put one hand behind his back to make a seal, and a red seal was struck on Wu Yong's body. Wu Yong didn't notice anything unusual at this time. Even when the old beggar played the red seal just now, he didn't notice any fluctuations in spiritual power. Well, this is much better. Little guy, you were running all over the world. Fortunately, the old man and I found you first. If the law enforcement team of Qinggang Immortal Palace found you first, you would probably have become a corpse. Quote. Take a closer look and you will see that this sloppy old beggar is not the old man in gold robe from the Suzaku sacred sect of the 9th level cultivation country. The old beggar poured the wine in the flask and found that it was gone. Looking at Wu Yong, who was getting closer and closer, he suddenly said, Hey, young man, give me a few spiritual stones to buy a bar for an old man like me. If you do a good deed every day, you will be blessed with good luck. Old man, are you calling me? After hearing what the old beggar said, Wu Yong pointed at himself. That's right. Judging from the elegant demeanor of the young master, he shouldn't be reluctant to part with a few low-grade spiritual stones. Old man, you're so good at reading people. I just can't bear to part with these low-grade spiritual stones. I'm not a good person. You should find someone else to do a good deed every day. I'm not interested. Wu Yong didn't even care about this old beggar and walked straight ahead. The old beggar was not angry when he saw that he had not received the spiritual stone. He walked towards the crowd and started begging from another person. Wu Yong has been wandering around the area for the past 2 days, observing the patrol tracks and passing times of the Shira sect disciples over and over again. This level of professionalism is no less than that of a top gangster. He has found all escape routes and hiding places after success. Today he plans to demonstrate it himself and start running from the auction house according to his planned time to see if he really won't encounter patrolling monks along the way. Wu Yong was standing next to the stone lion in the auction house, counting the time. Suddenly he started to run away, using his phantom movement technique directly, and kept shuttling through the alleys. Sometimes he crosses the street from the alley and returns to the depths of the alley. A quarter of an hour later he came to an abandoned house. Sure enough, he didn't meet any patrolling Shira sect monks along the way. After making up his mind, he spent the night in this abandoned house, preparing to start tomorrow morning. Early the next morning, Wu Yong put on his beard and covered himself with magic jade, revealing only his Zochin cultivation in the later stage of the golden elixir. After dressing up in disguise, he walked towards the Shira sect auction house. Senior, our auction will only start at noon, you can come back later. Can't we come in now? Can't I go in and wait? Ah, that's fine. I'm just afraid that you, senior, will get bored if you wait too long. What are you talking about? It takes 10 or 100 years for a practitioner to retreat for 10 years. How can this short half-day be boring? Okay then, please ask senior to verify the capital here. Our Shira sect auction house will arrange corresponding private rooms based on senior's assets. A waiter took the disguised Wu Yong to the side to verify capital. At this time, Wu Yong took out a storage bag, and a middle-aged man who looked like a shopkeeper swept the storage bag with his consciousness. A mid-level guest can stay in a third-class private room. Wu Yong was greatly disgusted in his heart. What the hell is this place? You're still giving me grades, and I won't even leave you a single hair later. After completing the capital verification, the waiter took Wu Yong to a private room in the corner of the second floor. Hello, senior, this is a third-class private room without female cultivators, so you can only wait here alone. Okay, go down and don't let anyone come in and disturb you. Not being served, isn't this exactly what Wu Yong wants? It would be inconvenient for me if someone were there. After the waiter walked away, Wu Yong's late-stage Zochin consciousness of Yuan Ying suddenly dispersed. The auction house has a total of 3 floors. The middle hall is hollow, the first floor is a hall, and the second and third floors are private rooms. This design greatly increases the privacy of some buyers. After all, some high-end items are often bid by customers in the private rooms on the second and third floors. Some customers take photos of important treasures and do not want outsiders to know their identities, so the auctioneer does not call the customers by their names, but by their private room numbers. Wu Yong's consciousness covered the entire auction house and found that there were only 2 Shira sect elders in the middle nascent soul stage sitting here. All the treasures are placed in the underground treasure house and are personally guarded by an elder in the middle stage of Yuanying, while another elder in the middle stage of Yuanying maintains order in the hall. After a quarter of an hour, Wu Yong figured out the route distribution of the entire auction house and the location of the treasure house, then took out the black robe from the storage bag and put it on, covering it with a scarf. I opened the door gently and found that there was no one in the corridor outside. After I came out, I closed the door tightly and the figure disappeared in a flash. Along the way, if he encountered any waiters or guards who couldn't escape, he would knock them unconscious with one palm, and then drag them to a nearby private room. After a while, he arrived at the location of the treasure house. The middle stage nascent soul elder who was meditating in front of the treasure house was knocked unconscious by Wu Yong's punches before he could react. Wu Yong took out a key from the fainted elder and inserted it into the big lock of the treasure house. Click, the treasure house door was opened, and Wu Yong dragged the fainted elder and walked in. Looking at the boxes of spiritual stones on the ground covering the entire ground, there are also a dazzling array of magic weapons on the surrounding shelves. These are all the magic weapons that the auction house will auction today. I saw a clothes rack placed in the middle of the secret room, and Wu Yong's eyes were attracted by a dress. It was an incredibly beautiful dress, as if it had come from a dream. Its color is like the sunset on the horizon, shining brightly, neither too bright nor monotonous. The texture of the dress is soft and smooth, with an intoxicating silky feel. The design of the skirt is exquisite and unique, and every detail shows the designer's ingenuity. The neckline is decorated with delicate lace, adding elegance and romance. The skirt flutters with the movement of the body, like a dream. Wearing it makes you feel like a fairy, light and beautiful. Wu Yong threw the fainted elder aside and took out the storage bag without saying a word. He put all the magic weapons and boxes of spiritual stones into the storage bag. Ha ha ha, I'm so rich, I can't go to your sect's treasure house, so I can't get too much here. This is just interest. When I get stronger, I will go shopping in your sect's treasure house. There will definitely be more treasures there. Quote. After collecting the spiritual stones and magic weapons, Wu Yong carefully put the wide-sleeved glazed fairy skirt into a separate storage bag. This dress will definitely look great if the beautiful master wears it. He, we are one step closer to winning the beautiful master. Wu Yong swept through the entire underground treasure house, leaving only rows of empty shelves and empty boxes. Apart from these, not a single hair was left. Wu Yong had just walked out of the treasure house, and before he came to the hall, the elder in the middle stage of nascent soul outside suddenly realized something was wrong. When he swept his consciousness, he didn't even notice another elder sitting in front of the treasure house. Based on his experience, he judged that something must have happened. Suddenly he dodged and headed towards the treasure house, just in time to bump into Wu Yong, who was leaving. Bold, who are you? How dare you break into our Shira sect's auction house? Someone is coming. The elder shouted loudly and immediately attacked Wu Yong. Wu Yong dodged, knocked the elder away with one punch, and then used his phantom movement technique to rush out directly towards the door of the auction house. At this time, another elder who was unconscious also woke up. Looking at the empty treasure house, he knew that he was in trouble, and that he was in trouble. Without any hesitation, he rushed out of the treasure house. As soon as he came out, he saw another elder who was knocked away by Wu Yong's punch and was flying backwards towards him. Then he protected him with one hand to help him stabilize his body. Old Feng, chase him quickly. If he escapes, we will both have to walk around without food. The two of them didn't waste any time and chased directly towards the gate. Just when Elder Feng shouted loudly, the guards and Shira sect disciples from all around rushed over. The hall and entrance of the Shira sect auction house were suddenly crowded with monks who came to support him. Wu Yong rushed out from the underground passage and looked at the dark crowd. He immediately used his phantom movement technique to shuttle through the crowded crowd, knocking several of them away with one punch. After a while, each of the monks was knocked away by him, and a passage leading to the door was opened by him. Wu Yong flashed out, knocked away dozens of Shira sect disciples at the gate, and then dodged towards the alley to the side. Yesterday he had already planned his escape route. Today he just needs to run according to the route he planned. When it is safe, he will take off his disguise and rush out of the city. But the plan couldn't keep up with the change. As soon as Wu Yong rushed into the alley, he met an old beggar hiding in a haystack and waving to him. "Hey, young man, here. Come and hide here." Wu Yong didn't bother him. He was about to leave in a flash, but the old beggar immediately took action and pulled Wu Yong into the haystack. Wu Yong was greatly shocked at this time, as if 100,000 grass and mud horses were galloping in his heart. He was in the late stage of nascent soul, and he was actually pulled into the haystack by this old beggar. This old beggar with a slovenly appearance is definitely in the late stage of nascent soul, and his cultivation level is even higher than his own. The old beggar pulled off Wu Yong's face scarf with one hand. Wu Yong quickly covered his mouth with his hands. "Ha ha boy, it's really you. Old beggar, let go now, someone will be chasing you soon. If you give me half, I'll let you go, or I'll call someone else. I'll divide your sister, and I won't even watch the time when you rob her. Let go, I'll give you 10 spiritual stones at most. Where are you sending the beggar? I want half, or I'll shout. Look at yourself, you are not the beggar, who is the beggar? Get away." When the old beggar saw Wu Yong refusing to share the stolen goods, he immediately shouted at the top of his lungs. "Someone, he's here, someone, come quickly." The two elders and a group of disciples who had just rushed out of the door heard the old beggar shouting and rushed into the alley. "F***ku, you cruel old beggar, don't let me touch you next time." Wu Yong burst out the quintessence of Chinese culture in his mouth. He immediately broke away from the old beggar, pulled him to the middle of the alley, took out a storage bag and stuffed it into his hand. "Everything is in the hands of this old beggar, you have to chase him." After saying that, Wu Yong ran away and disappeared into the alley. "You little fool, you're so cruel." The old beggar really didn't expect Wu Yong to do this, so he immediately ran in the other direction. "Old Feng, you led a team to chase this old beggar, and I will lead a team to chase this man in black." "Okay, hurry, some of the people follow me." The two mid-stage nascent soul elders each led a team of troops to chase in two directions. Wu Yong kept shuttling on the planned route. After a while, he arrived at the abandoned house, quickly took off his black robe and pulled off his beard. Then he used the magic jade to push his cultivation to the foundation building stage, and walked out of the back door onto the street with great swagger. "Get out of the way, everyone, get out of the way, all Shira sect law enforcement officers, get out of the way." Groups of disciples of the Shira sect were running on the street. The casual cultivators on the road saw that the disciples of the Shira sect were performing tasks, and they immediately moved out of the way. At this time, Wu Yong was among the crowd, with fear in his eyes. "Hey, little brother, you must be scared. Look at all the Shira sect disciples in Shira City. They all look fierce." Looking at the formation, something big must have happened. "Well, big brother, you were right. I want to leave the city and go home quickly. My mother is still waiting for me to eat." Ha ha ha. A young monk in the early stage of foundation building can tell at a glance that he has never seen the world, unlike me, who is in the middle stage of foundation building and has seen the big world. Looking at the inscrutable look on this idiot's face, Wu Yong would have given him a mace if it had been any other time. Ignoring this casual cultivator, Wu Yong walked towards the city gate. "Stop, come and check." As soon as he reached the city gate and was about to leave the city, a Jindan monk suddenly blocked Wu Yong's way. Senior, I came to the city to get medicine for my mother. This is the medicine I got. I asked Senior to let me go out of the city, but I still have to go home to boil the medicine. The golden elixir monk guarding the city gate took the medicine in Wu Yong's hand, looked at it, and threw it back to him. Go. A poor, toothless young cultivator. Thank you, Senior, thank you, Senior. Wu Yong saluted obediently while retreating towards the outside of the city. Just when he was about to walk out of the city gate, he saw a shout coming from behind him. You brat, wait for me, you white-eyed wolf actually left the old man alone, you are unjust. The old beggar ran and shouted. Behind him were a large number of Shira sect law enforcement disciples, led by 2 mid-stage nascent soul elders, chasing the old beggar closely. What the hell? When Wu Yong heard the old beggar calling him, he wanted to kill him. Unable to care about so many things, Wu Yong immediately rushed out of the city gate, and the Jindan monks guarding the city chased him out after seeing this. However, as soon as Wu Yong rushed out of the city, he directly used 1,000 miles of thought, and his figure suddenly disappeared into the horizon. Wu Yong ran 100,000 miles without stopping for an hour. Ho. No one should be chasing me now, right? This old beggar is really trying to defeat me. I have to beat him up next time I see him. He took out the Chongjiang sword and carved a cave directly into a mountain. Wu Yong walked into it, shot 5 small flags in his hand, and laid down several defensive restrictions. Then he sat down cross-legged and began to restore his spiritual power. Maintaining peak condition at all times when going out is Wu Yong's motto. At this time, there was chaos in Shira City. Those who came to participate in the auction were all in vain, and the families and casual cultivators who brought the magic weapons to the auction also suffered heavy losses. What kind of thing is this? The auction house can also be robbed. My top-grade magic weapon microwave knife was originally going to be auctioned, but now it has been robbed and your auction house has to pay compensation. Yes, my swift wind sword was also robbed. Pay for it. Pay for it. Pay for it. As 1 or 2 people started shouting, more and more monks started shouting too. Compensate. The waiters responsible for the reception were immediately panicked and didn't know what to do for a moment. In this robbery, the Shira sect auction house lost at least 10 million pieces of low-grade spiritual stones, but the sad thing was that an old beggar robbed half of them. Wu Yong's teeth were itching, so he took the risk to visit the place, and went deep into the tiger's den to grab so many things. In the end, he got an advantage from this old beggar. 3 days later, the Shira sect sent the second elder of the sect, one of the 3 Dzogchen monks in the late nascent soul stage. How did you 2 manage that such an important place could be broken into? Go back to the sect and receive your punishment. Due to the poor supervision of you 2, our Shira sect lost more than 10 million low-grade spiritual stones. The great elder was so angry when he found out. He will punish you personally when you go back. Quote. When the 2 elders heard the second elder's words, they broke into a cold sweat. Then they bowed respectfully, turned around and returned to the Shira sect. Someone is coming. The second elder shouted loudly, and 3 monks walked in immediately outside the door, 2 middle-aged men and an old man. The next 3 of you will stay here. If something like this happens again, don't go back. It's the second elder. We will definitely guard this place and never let this happen again. HMPH, I hope you can remember what I said today. After finishing speaking, the second elder flicked his sleeves and walked out of the door. After leaving the city, the consciousness of the great perfection in the later stage of nascent soul dispersed directly and pursued in one direction. At this time, Wu Yong's spiritual power had been fully restored. He stood up, collected the 5 elements flag, removed the defensive restrictions, and walked out of the cave. He took out the map and looked at it, then walked towards the direction of the Wying Gate. A man was walking leisurely on the road, whistling as he walked. I saw an old beggar sitting on the branch of a big tree, with a roast chicken in one hand and a wine flask in the other, happily eating meat and wine. Boy, you are so unjust. You didn't take me with you when you ran away. I was chased for so long. Hearing this voice, Wu Yong took out the mace without even looking. The old beggar beat you all over the floor today. If you are so stupid, you will bite my head. Ah, take your life. Wu Yong lifted the mace into the air and smashed it towards the old beggar. Bang, the old beggar neutralized the attack with a wave of his sleeves. Then I took another bite of the roasted chicken. Bang 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 bang. Wu Yong smashed it more than 10 times in a row, and every time he was blocked by the old beggar without any danger. You brat, you can't hit me, hey. You can't hit me. You just can't hit me. Wu Yong failed to injure this sloppy old beggar with more than 10 moves in a row. He immediately took back his mace and took out the Chongzheng sword. Base. The Chongzheng sword made a sword cry, and Wu Yong raised the Chongzheng sword high, and the spiritual power in his body was injected into the sword crazily. At this time, a golden sword light rose into the sky and quickly condensed into substance. The sword points to the sky. With a loud shout, Wu Yong slashed with his sword. Boom! The huge golden sword light slashed at the old beggar at high speed, with a rumbling sound that broke through the air. Upon seeing this, the old beggar threw away the roast chicken in his hand, and a spiritual shield suddenly appeared around him. I saw him forming sword fingers with one hand, and a red sword energy shot out from his fingertips. Boom! The red sword energy and the golden sword light collided in the air. A huge explosion sounded. Ripples spread at the place of collision. The surrounding mountains and forests were reduced to ashes under the shock waves of the two sword energy. You fool, are you serious? Stop hitting people and come on. Even if the King of Heaven comes, I will kill you, a disgusting old beggar, ah. Just when Wu Yong was about to gather his second attack, the old beggar gave in. After all, if he continued to fight, he would really alert the law enforcement team of Qinggang Immortal Palace. As soon as his spiritual energy fluctuation spreads out, the law enforcement team from Qinggang Immortal Palace will rush over immediately. At that time, it will not be as simple as facing several nascent souls in the later stages of Zochan. Good boy, let me lose. If you have any requests, just say it. Old man, I will grant you a request. Give me back the spirit stone. This won't work, you need another one. I snatched this spirit stone with my own ability, don't even think about it. Then fight. No, 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 please change it. If you change it to another one, maybe I will agree. Okay, then follow me and do another job. Be my thug. Are you going to rob again? Okay, okay, I like this request, old man. Put your sword away quickly, it's so scary. When the old beggar heard that he was going to rob the next family, he immediately became interested and ran to Wu Yong with a smile. Looking at the old beggar Wu Yong, who is even meaner than him, he also looks disgusted, but who can let him have strength that is not weaker than his own. Taking him to the Fog Shadow Gate can also increase your confidence. Old beggar, this is what you said. This time you follow me to rob the Wying Gate. You are responsible for attracting firepower, and I am responsible for going in to raid their treasure house. That's no problem. The biggest problem now is how we divide the spoils. You still want to share the spoils. You have robbed me of 5 million low-grade spiritual stones and you are not satisfied. You still have the nerve to share the spoils with me this time. Old man, I will risk my life to help you attract firepower. Young people, don't be too greedy. I want 50-50 or you can go alone. No, at most 1 is 9, I am 9 and you are 1. 5-5, 28. 4-6, at most I'll tell you 4-6. Otherwise I'll leave now and tell the Shira sect, and no one will have a good life. You, old beggar, you're so cheap, if you want to be 4-6, then be 4-6. I won't save you when you're besieged by those masters and elders. I'm an old man, and I can't go back on my words. After all, I'm an old beggar. Bah, you're a fool, even more shameless than me. What's the point of having face? Can it be eaten, or can it make you stronger? In this cannibalistic world, only continuous strengthening is the kingly way, and the others, get out of my way. Oh, I didn't expect a sloppy old beggar to say such philosophical words. The two spirits, one old and one young, bickered and walked towards the distance. An hour later, a team of more than a dozen monks landed where the two of them had just fought. It was seen that each of these monks exuded a cultivation fluctuation that was not weaker than Wu Yong. This is a group of cultivators who have reached the great perfection of the late nascent soul stage. The spiritual power fluctuations in the body of the middle-aged cultivator who led them are even more terrifying. It seems that he can easily destroy these dozen cultivators who have reached the great perfection of the late nascent soul stage with one move. These dozen members of the late nascent soul stage followed this person respectfully. At this time, the middle-aged cultivator closed his eyes as if he was feeling something. Is it that the Qinggang compass has made a mistake? The Qinggang compass clearly sensed the spiritual power fluctuations of the old Suzaku before. Feng Wuji, could it be you? You don't want to stay in the good 9th level cultivation country, but come to this low-level hunting ground. What do you want to do? The middle-aged cultivator pondered for a while, and then walked around again. Seeing that there was nothing to find, he flew away with this team of cultivators who had reached the great perfection of the late nascent soul stage. At this time, Wu Yong and the old beggar came to the sphere of influence of the Wang sect, a cultivation city called Yuanil City. Unexpectedly, this sloppy and mean old beggar turned out to be the old Suzaku Feng Wuji of the Suzaku holy sect of the 9th level cultivation country. At this time, he followed Wu Yong like a wretched old man, looking around. Hey, old beggar, why are you so sneaky? Are you afraid that others don't know that you have bad intentions? Hearing Wu Yong say this, Feng Wuji suddenly changed his face. Really, I'm a serious man, old man. Tisk, if you are a serious man, then I'm the most honest person in the world. These two seemed to be natural enemies, and they never stopped bickering all the way. After paying the spirit stone for entering the city, an old man and a young man came to a restaurant. The waiter looked at the sloppy old beggar with disgust. But when Feng Wuji threw out a bag of spirit stones, the waiter's attitude instantly turned 180 degrees. Hey, please come in, two seniors. Two top guests. Feng Wuji walked into the restaurant with a proud face, and came to a private room under the guidance of the waiter. Whatever spiritual wine and spiritual meat you have, bring them all up to me. I'm not short of money. Okay, wait a moment, we have plenty of the best spiritual wine. The waiter ran out with a flattering look on his face, and soon a large table of meat of various monsters filled the table. Feng Wuji stuffed the food into his mouth like a person who had been hungry for 3 days. Wu Yong did not covet the desire for food, and the consciousness of the late Yuanian great perfection in his body spread out directly, collecting all the information in the restaurant. After all, it was easy for him to do such things. As a professional gangster, he must always know everything around him. After successfully committing the crime, he must accurately plan the escape route. After all, no one knows how many late Yuanian great perfection cultivators there are in the Wangman. An hour later, Wu Yong and Feng Wuji walked out of the restaurant. At this time, Feng Wuji's mouth was full of oil, his hands kept patting his stomach, and he even burped. You brat, what are you going to do next? Old man, I'm full and now I feel full of strength. You, a person who has been abstinent for a long time, are still greedy for food and drink. Sooner or later, you will be killed. Hey, you don't understand this. We monks can live without food for a long time when we reach a certain stage, but you don't understand how I feel. Old man, I can only feel alive when I'm full. Come on, since you have nothing to do, let's go out of the city and find a place to have a good sleep. Quote. Feng Wuji said words that only he could understand from time to time. Wu Yong did not set his target on this city this time. He wanted to go directly to the Wangman treasure house. Now that I have a powerful helper, I need to build something bigger. After all, compared with a sect's treasure house, this is much more exciting than robbing an auction house. The two came to a deep mountain. Wu Yong carved out 2 caves with a sword. Feng Wuji yawned and walked into one of them. After resting for a night, Wu Yong disguised himself and came to the place where Wang sect was recruiting disciples. At this time, he was wearing tattered clothes, and his cultivation level was pressed down on the 3rd level of the Qi refining stage with magic jade. I looked at the criteria for recruiting handyman disciples, and then walked to the registration office. Hello, senior brother, I am Ma Yun from Majiago near Tianyuan City. I am here to apply for a handyman disciple. Oh, the 3rd level of Qi refining is good. A handyman disciple gets 2 low-grade spiritual stones a month. You have to work every day and you can't bear it. I can bear it. I was born in a rural area and am a good worker. Okay, this is your identity token. Take this token and go over there to pick up the uniforms of the handyman disciples. Someone will take you to the handyman room. Thank you, senior brother. In this way, Wu Yong successfully penetrated into the enemy's interior and came to the miscellaneous room of Wying Gate to work as an undercover agent. For more than 10 days, he would hang out inside the Wying Gate whenever he had free time, and sometimes he would even touch the inner door at night. There are only 2 ancestors of the late Yuanying Dzogchen in this Wying sect, but there are 5 in the late Yuanying. It's not easy to handle. The location of the treasure house has not yet been found out. On this day, when Wu Yong was at his wit's end, he saw several figures flying out from the inner door of Wying Gate. Senior brother Liu, this time we are ordered to go to Yuanil City to escort the spirit stones. Can we stay a few more days? I haven't seen Zhao Hong in the city for a long time. With your worthless look, you can only stay for 1 day at most. If you delay the storage of spiritual stones, the elders in the sect should punish us again. Hey, I haven't been out for a long time, I'm so suffocated. Ha ha ha, I think you are a hungry ghost in lust. 6 Wying sect disciples flew over Wu Yong's head, and several of them were talking and laughing. Wu Yong used magic jade to hide himself, hiding next to a huge stone, listening to the conversation of several people. Hey, if you are really sleepy, someone will give you a pillow. I will be waiting for you here. Then I want to see where these spiritual stones are finally sent. Just like that, Wu Yong hid nearby, waiting for the 6 disciples to return with the spirit stones. At that time, I will touch it and see where the spirit stone will be sent to in the end. 3 days later, the 6 disciples returned, and they saw that the leader, senior brother Liu, had bulging arms, obviously filled with several storage bags. Wu Yong followed them secretly, avoiding the disciples on duty at the inner gate, and watched as they walked into a heavily guarded courtyard. Then Wu Yong quietly exited the inner door and returned to the service room. Hey, I finally found you, my spirit stone. At this time, a ferocious fat woman walked into the service room, pointed at Wu Yong and cursed with an angry face. You are a fool from the country, you know how to be lazy every day, tell me where you have been these days, there is a lot of work with no one to do, you know how to be lazy. People like you are wasting food here, so you should die as soon as possible. Get out of here and pick the shit out of me. If you can't finish it, you won't be able to eat today. Quote. Wu Yong looked at the disgusting fat woman. She was bloated, like an overinflated balloon. Her face was covered with thick fat, and her eyes were squeezed into 2 slits, revealing a disgusting cunningness. Her mouth was painted with too bright lipstick, which was in sharp contrast to her fat face and looked even more vulgar. The fat woman was wearing tight clothes, which seemed to be trying to hide her alarming weight, but it only tried to hide it, but instead highlighted her fatness even more. She took a heavy step, and the fat on her body was shaking with every step she took, which reminded people of a slow-moving elephant. She gave off an unpleasant smell, a mixture of sweat and cheap perfume that made people want to avoid her. What are you looking at? Why don't you get out of here? Is this what you can imagine, my mother? Hurry up and pick out dung. Wu Yong held back his nausea and rolled his eyes at the fat woman, then walked out of the room, pushed a dung truck and left. But he didn't collect the excrement, but pushed the cart towards the mountain gate. Why does it smell so bad? Hey, what are you doing, that handyman? I'm telling the senior brothers that Grandma Rong asked me to push this cart of dung out to water the vegetables. Go away, go away. It stinks. Wu Yong pushed the dung cart and swaggered out of the Wying Gate. He hid the dung cart in a deserted place and flew towards the cave where Feng Wuji was. Old beggar, come to life. If you are dead or not, please tell me. The barrier inside the cave dissipated, and Feng Wuji walked out of it. What are you doing, you brat? I thought you were beaten to death. How did you figure out the location of the treasure house? I've figured it out. I've been pushing shit for more than 10 days, it's disgusting to me, and I have to face that disgusting fat woman every day. When will we do it? You go and call for the formation early tomorrow morning, but don't do anything at the mountain gate. You just need to lure away the 2 late-stage nascent soul Dzogchen and a few late-stage nascent souls in the sect. Leave the rest to me. You must remember not to do anything at the mountain gate, otherwise they will activate the sect protecting formation and our operation will fail. Quote. I know, long-winded. I can only lure them away for a quarter of an hour. I can't use my spiritual power, so I can't take action. You have to rob their treasure house as soon as possible and escape. We will meet at the southern border of Rakshasa Kingdom. You must remember these map coordinates. There's more. You can't just run away after grabbing it. Old man, I still have 40% left. Quote. Feng Wuji obviously doesn't believe Wu Yong very much. This guy is not a good person. What if he escapes after he succeeds? Don't worry, I never talk about integrity in business. I always do business based on integrity. Quote. The first cooperation between the two began in this atmosphere of distrust. Wu Yong pushed the dung cart back to the handyman's room and quietly waited for the arrival of tomorrow. The next morning, Feng Wuji flew towards the Wying Gate. When he came to the gate, he started to curse. The voice was like a loud bell, and the vulgar words immediately spread throughout the Wying sect. Gong Han, you old man, you gave birth to a son without a butthole, you have sores on your butt, you sleep with a fat woman every day, and your entire foggy door is bent. How can you still have the nerve to live in this world like you? If I were you, I would have plunged into a manure pit and drowned. You are all neither male nor female, it makes people sick, disgusting. Quote. Gong Han was the ancestor of the Wying sect, and Feng Wuji cursed him with all the words he could think of. Looking at this despicable look, who would have thought that this was the old Suzaku from the Suzaku holy sect of the 9th level cultivation country? This is obviously an old scoundrel and an old scoundrel. As the vulgar yelling and cursing came out, soon the monks flew out from the fog shadow door one by one. The 7 people headed by them are the 2 ancestors and heads of the Wying sect and the 4 elders. Where did this old beggar come from? How dare he act so arrogantly at my Wying gate? Someone, come and capture him for me. Take your mother. Follow me if you can, and see if I don't take off your clothes and hang you from a tree. Old beggar, you are looking for death. Just when an elder was about to rush out, the ancestor Gong Han waved his hand. Don't move for now, watch out for an explosion. Originally, Feng Wuji had already fled for a certain distance, but when he saw no one was chasing him, he turned around and came back. Coward, waste, you eunuch without a penis, you talk like a fool. I'm here to scold you, you don't even dare to fart. Gong Han was furious when he heard Feng Wuji scolding him for not having a penis. Originally, when he was young, someone had his private parts hurt, which made him unable to get hard for the rest of his life. At this time, Feng Wuji once again provoked something he didn't want to think about in his heart, and all his emotions suddenly exploded at this moment. I'm going to kill you. Boom. Gong Han attacks Feng Wuji directly. Ancestor. Brother. When several heads and elders saw their ancestors attacking, they immediately followed him. Seeing Gong Han's attack, Feng Wuji raised his butt and farted at the flying Gong Han, and then ran away as fast as possible. At this time, Gong Han was extremely disgusted by Feng Wuji. He must kill this old beggar who insulted him again and again. Then 7 figures chased in the direction where Feng Wuji escaped. Wu Yong in the utility room secretly observed all this with his spiritual consciousness. When he saw several people being led away, he immediately got up and opened the door and was ready to take action. As soon as I opened the door, I bumped into a fat woman with a disgusting face. Oh, you fool, you don't have eyes. Can't you see me? Go back to work. Boom. Before the fat woman could finish her words, Wu Yong punched her in the eye. Bang 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 bang. He punched the fat woman in the face for more than a dozen times. In the end, the fat woman was beaten exactly like a pig's head. Passed out. Bah, I've put up with you for so long, fat lady, you're so disgusting to me. After beating the fat woman, Wu Yong disappeared towards the treasure house. After a few breaths, he arrived outside the treasure house's courtyard. He rushed in with the mace in his hand, quickly eliminated dozens of golden elixir guards, took out the barrier tokens from the guards and removed the protective barrier. Then he kicked open the door of the treasure house and rushed in. Ha 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 ha, it's all mine, it's all mine. Wu Yong quickly collected the mountains of spiritual stones in the treasure house. Each floor of the huge 3-story attic was filled with spiritual stones. Just when Wu Yong finished collecting the spiritual stones on the first floor and was about to go up to the second floor, a fierce attack came from outside the door. I saw an old man flying from a distance. his body exuding the aura of the great perfection of the late nascent soul. Boy, you are so brave. You dare to break into my Wangman's treasure house, so you can stay here today. Wu Yong immediately flew out of the attic after seeing the old man. Boom, boom. As soon as the two met, they slapped each other, and suddenly the walls around the courtyard were reduced to rubble by the spread of the palm wind. You made a mistake in your judgment. There are 3 nascent soul late-stage Dzogchen masters in this Wang sect, not 2. Seeing the strength of this elder, Wu Yong immediately stopped fighting and fled directly into the air. Hurry up and activate the sect-protecting formation, don't let this thief escape. As the elder's voice came out, the disciples on duty immediately took out their duty jade tokens and immediately activated the Wang sect's sect-protecting formation. He saw the surrounding barriers slowly rising upwards. Seeing that he had no time to rush out of the mountain gate, Wu Yong turned around and flew upwards at high speed. The elders of the Wang sect behind him were chasing after him, and they kept attacking with the flying swords in their hands. Wu Yong dodged while rushing upward with all his strength, without looking back to fight the elder. Phew, at the last moment when the barrier closed, Wu Yong rushed out of the area covered by the formation barrier. At the moment he rushed out, he used all his strength to escape wildly into the distance with a single thought. The elder who chased him out took out a jade token and crushed it into pieces. He chased Wu Yong in the direction in which he was escaping. At this time, Gong Han, who was chasing Feng Wuji, received the message from this elder, and his body suddenly stopped. No, I was fooled. After leaving a few words, he turned around and chased in the direction guided by the jade sign. Seeing this, several other people were about to follow him. The second elder spoke immediately. Don't chase, let's go back to the sect. It's okay for the senior brother and third junior brother to pursue this matter. Let's go back to defend. After hearing the second elder's words, several people immediately flew back towards the Wang gate. Feng Wuji, who was escaping, also knew that Wu Yong had succeeded, and immediately turned around and flew towards the previously agreed coordinates. On this side, the second elder of the Wang sect was chasing Wu Yong closely. Seeing that he was about to be caught up, Wu Yong took out the Chongzheng sword, and the spiritual power in his body exploded. A sword slashed towards the second elder behind him. The sword points to the sky. A huge golden sword light slashed towards the second elder at high speed, and the second elder immediately used a shield to defend. Boom! The golden sword light struck the shield. The second elder paused and the golden sword light dissipated. The spreading shock wave formed ripples and spread in the air to all directions. The moment the second elder paused, Wu Yong flew thousands of miles away. Wu Yong, who was using his full power to cast 1,000 miles of thought, took out a handful of spirit resurrection pills, stuffed them into his mouth, and flew away at high speed. The second elder just paused for a moment, and then chased after him at great speed. Half a day later, the 2 ancestors of the Wang sect met up. Senior brother, this boy is as strong as you and me at such a young age, and he is currently escaping towards the western border. Let's go and catch up with all our strength. The 2 of us will definitely kill him with our combined strength. Just like that, Wu Yong was running away in front, while the 2 ancestors of the Wang sect were chasing after him. In this way, you chased me and I chased him. 10 days later, Wu Yong came to the Boundary Mountains on the western border of Luosha country. This is one of the 100,000 mountains that separate the 4th-level cultivation country and the 5th-level cultivation country. It is called the Boundary Mountains. When Wu Yong first arrived here, he didn't think about it, and he plunged directly into the Boundary Mountains and flew straight to the depths of the mountains. A quarter of an hour later, the 2 ancestors of the Wang sect also caught up here. The 2 looked at each other, as if conveying information that only they knew. Then the 2 looked at each other and nodded, and immediately flew into the Boundary Mountains one after another. An hour later, Wu Yong flew to the depths of the mountains, and his figure fell to the ground, using the dense primeval forest to cover his figure. In the depths of the mountains, there are many monsters. It is foggy and gloomy here, as if it is a world isolated from the world. The ancient trees cover the sky and the sun, making it difficult for the sun to penetrate, and only a faint light falls in the dark forest. The monsters have different shapes, some are huge, as majestic as mountains, some are petite and agile, shuttling between the woods. Their fur is colorful, shining with metallic luster, or covered with thick scales. Sharp fangs are exposed from the corners of their mouths, exuding a chilling breath. Roars and roars come from the depths of the mountains from time to time, which are the monsters showing their strength and territory. They survive and reproduce in this secret world, forming a unique ecosystem. Fierce fighting or quietly lurking, full of endless mystery and danger. Wu Yong's figure keeps shuttling through the dense primeval forest, occasionally bypassing some low-level monsters. In the world of monsters, there are 8 levels, from first-level monsters to 8th-level monsters. The higher the level, the stronger the monster. The first-level monster is equivalent to the foundation-building cultivator, the second-level monster is equivalent to the golden elixir cultivator, and so on. The 8th-level monster is equivalent to the Mahayana monster. When a demon beast reaches the 6th level, it can open its spiritual wisdom. Once it reaches the 7th level, it can transform into a human form. If a demon beast chooses to transform into a human form, it will have to go through the 9 thunder tribulations like the cultivators who are undergoing the tribulation. Some demon beasts choose not to transform into human form and continue to practice in their original form because of some special reasons or because they do not want to experience the tribulation. At this time, Wu Yong's spiritual consciousness spread all the way to cover 1,000 miles. Although there are only some first and second level demon beasts here. However, these first and second level demon beasts often live in groups. If hundreds or thousands of them appear at the same time, I am afraid that he, a cultivator who has reached the great perfection of the late nascent soul, will also suffer in the northwest. Not to mention those third and fourth level demon beasts that will come in search of battle fluctuations. So this is why the 2 ancestors of the Mist Shadow sect hesitated outside the Boundary Mountains just now. It is precisely because they know the horror of the Boundary Mountains that they fly into the depths of the mountains in a front and back formation. Big brother, we can't go any deeper. We are about to enter the territory of that 4th level monster. Let's retreat. If this kid goes in and encounters that 4th level monster, he will probably die. HMPH, he ran fast. Even if we didn't kill him, he would become the food of that 4th level monster when he went in and encountered it. Let's go. Let's go back. The 2 ancestors of the Wying sect did not dare to go too deep into the Boundary Mountains. Seeing Wu Yong's figure disappear in the depths of the mountains, they turned around and left immediately. After all, compared with the stolen spirit stones, his own life is more important. As Wu Yong went deeper and deeper, he encountered more and more low-level monsters. At this time, he had Chong Zheng in his hand, and he would kill some low-level monsters that actively attacked with one sword. In just a quarter of an hour, he killed dozens of first and second level monsters and obtained dozens of monster cores. Roar, hiss. The sounds of various monsters kept coming from all around. After Wu Yong quickly killed several wind and fire wolves, his figure flashed to the side. F*K. How come there are more and more monsters the more I kill them? I just killed a dozen of them and dozens more popped out from the side. How long will it take to finish killing them? Just when Wu Yong was muttering to himself and complaining about too many monsters, a group of wind and fire wolves were surrounding him. Wind and fire wolves are first-level gregarious monsters. Although each one only has the strength of the foundation building stage, there are so many of them that they can't stand it. Just when Wu Yong had just finished killing the dozen wind and fire wolves, the bloody smell of the same kind of thick fog spread to the territory of the wind and fire wolves in the nearby cave. A fiery red wind and fire wolf that was twice as big as the dark red wind and fire wolves around it suddenly opened its eyes and let out a roar. Ouch! Aha! Thousands of dark red wind and fire wolves seemed to have received the order, and immediately ran out of the cave and rushed towards Wu Yong. Wu Yong's consciousness covering the surrounding areas immediately discovered the traces of this group of wind and fire wolves, and he saw that there were thousands of wind and fire wolves coming towards him in an encirclement manner. This is trouble. Although these first-order monsters can't do much harm to me, there are too many of them. If the power generated by killing them is too great, even more powerful monsters will be attracted. Quote. With a plan in mind, Wu Yong held the Chong Zheng sword in his hand and directly used the phantom movement technique to disappear directly from the place. I saw corpses of wind and fire wolves flying into the air all around. Wu Yong quickly shuttled among the wolves. With every swing of his sword, dozens of wind and fire wolves were killed by him. But facing so many wind and fire wolves, Wu Yong also felt a headache. He had no choice but to bite the bullet and continue killing. Boom, boom, ouch. The explosion caused by the Chongjiang sword slashing, and the roar of the Zephyr Fire Wolf leader kept ringing in the dense forest. Thousands of wind and fire wolves seemed to be desperate for their lives, rushing towards Wu Yong crazily. As soon as he killed one group, another group rushed up immediately. An hour later, Wu Yong's white clothes were dyed bright red. It stained with the blood of the wind and fire wolf. At this time, the corpses of the wind and fire wolves were piled up beside him, and there were countless wind and fire wolves rushing towards him. Seeing that there were too many, Wu Yong put away the Chongjiang sword and took out the dragon scale halberd. I saw the dragon scale halberd let out a dragon roar as soon as it was taken out. Roar! The loud roar of the dragon resounded throughout the world. When the surrounding wind and fire wolves heard the loud roar of the dragon, their bodies suddenly froze. At this time, the leader of the wolf pack also roared. Ouch! The surrounding wind and fire wolves seemed to have heard the order and rushed towards Wu Yong crazily. Wu Yong held the dragon scale halberd and stood upright in midair. At this time, his demeanor changed drastically, like a general who had experienced hundreds of battles, showing no fear in the face of the thousands of troops coming towards him. The dragon scale halberd in his hand kept making a buzzing sound. It's like excitement, but also like desire. Every spiritual weapon is made for fighting. This is the value of being a spiritual weapon. The hand holding the dragon scale halberd tightened, and the spiritual power of the great perfection of the late nascent soul in Wu Yong's body crazily poured into the body of the halberd. At this moment Wu Yong moved. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.